Good morning, Rebels. Every story, glory. Stay in tune. Good morning. Hey, Sweaty. Hey, Sweaty. Oh, yeah. Hot coffee. Let me pour some coffee. We'll get started. I'm pouring coffee right now. Hey! Ba da 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 da. Morgan, yeah. Uh-huh. For you, darling. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Hey, what's the deal and how you feeling? I hope you're having a beautiful day today here in Albuquerque. It is sunny and beautiful. I saw roadrunners scatter when I came in outside the house to water my flowers and dump my coffee beans from yesterday. What a glorious time it is to be alive. What a beautiful temperature it is. Sun is shining. The grass is green. Everything is fantastic here. It's Taco Tuesday where you are. It is Taco Tuesday. Maybe I should make some tacos. I don't know. Maybe I should do some tacos. You think I should do some tacos? Did you hear that Taco Bell is doing a Taco Lovers subscription service now? You can just pay a monthly fee and get a taco every single day of the month. Every month you can just 31 tacos a month you can get, which is great because if you are looking to lose weight, you can live off of Taco Bell tacos and diarrhea yourself to a svelte 95 pounds. Everyone wants to be 95 pounds, dying of dysentery. It's great. That's what everybody wants. That's the dream. Taco Bell, thank you for helping us live the dream. As I said, everything is going great here. Yesterday I did karaoke. I went to karaoke over at the Tractor Brewing Company, and it was very sweet. And I sang a song, and people started coming up to me. They're like, "Man, you did a great job." And some lady wanted me to sing a song with her, so we sang a duet. I thought that was really cool. And I just, once again, everyone tells me there's a loneliness epidemic. Go out and do some karaoke, you lazy bastards. Go do some karaoke. By the way, I lived in Japan, so I know this, but you might know this too. I mean, it's kind of a little fun trivia thing. Karaoke or karaoke is a Japanese word meaning empty orchestra. Isn't that fun? Karaoke, like karate is empty hand. So it's fighting. It's martial arts without weaponry. Karate. But karaoke is empty orchestra. Cara nopal means your face looks like a Mexican. I don't know why they say that. Cara nopal. Maybe you know why it's called cara nopal. Why do they say cara nopal means your face looks like a Mexican's? I don't know why they say that. Mexican people say that, not Japanese. I'm getting my cultures mixed up. But karaoke, karate, and kara nopal somehow seem related to me. Kara in Japanese means empty, but kara in Spanish means face. Kara nopal means you have a face like a cactus. Blondie, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Sky City Rebels get extra streams, extra content, and extra love in the chat. What's up, Twisted Hippie? How you doing? So, I mean, I don't know. I guess, like, if you're having hard time meeting people, go to do karaoke, okay? Just do some karaoke. Get a beer, or don't get a non-alcoholic beverage and go sing some karaoke. Or don't drink anything. Just tip the karaoke person. It's okay. It's okay, honey pie. Yeah. Anyway, I sang. What song did I sing? Oh, I sang Bloodletting, the vampire song by Concrete Blonde. And this lady came up, random lady. She said, "Hey, do you know that song by Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne, the duet called Close My Eyes. And I said, yeah, I know it, sort of. I've heard it. She goes, can you sing it with me? I was like, yeah, sure. I just got to like listen to it in the bathroom real fast. Or I went outside and I stuck the phone to my ear and I tried to listen to the song real fast. And it was really fun, man. We played. I made new friends yesterday. They both gave me, a bunch of people gave me their numbers, or I gave my numbers to a bunch of people. They all texted me. I talked to this other guy's like, man, your song was really good. And he said, I said, oh yeah, you know, when I play it on guitar, I play it so it's much slower, so it's weird when I do a karaoke. And he said, oh, you play guitar? I'm looking for someone to give me lessons. And I said, well, sure. Come on by the house. I'll teach you how to play guitar. Why not? Some people ask why. I ask why not. You know, I'm a guitar teacher. I didn't know I was a guitar teacher until yesterday. I'm a guitar teacher, and we're going to learn how to, maybe we'll live stream the guitar lessons. Would that be fun? I don't know. Anyway, my name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and boy, are my arms tired. This is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. It's Tuesday. It's supposed to be kind of chill today, but are you able to chill out while Donald Trump is taking away your rights? He's taking away your rights. Your rights are being eroded. Do you think that if you elect Democrats, they're just going to give you your rights back? Do you think that's what's going to happen? Cool, yeah. Musicians always make friends easily. Yeah. I guess so. Except that they don't know I'm a musician until I tell them. And he came up to me and he said, hey, great song. What song was that? That was really good. Your voice is really good for that song. And he wasn't hitting on me or anything. He was a straight man. And then the lady, she's like 5 years older than me. And, you know, we're just friends. Just friend zone everybody. That's my motto. Friend zone everybody. I should make a T-shirt. Everyone's in the friend zone. Friend zone everyone. Want to be in a my band kind of vibes. Yeah, you want to be in a my band kind of vibes. Exactly. You want to be my band? You want to make loud noises and fuck the government? Yeah, me too. All right, let's check this out. We're losing our rights in America. Donald Trump, of course, his Supreme Court is paying off in dividends. Mitch McConnell's ghost is haunting our country. It's Mitch McConnell's fault that we're losing our rights. But hey, you know, someone had to hand the keys over to the Nazis, and it was Mitch McConnell. Way to go, Mitch. You'll go down in history as the guy who ruined America.
A controversial police program involving searches and seizures at Atlanta's airport is...
Wait a second. Searches and seizures? Huh. Isn't there something in the Constitution about illegal search and seizure? I thought there was. Oh, the Fourth Amendment. It's the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable searches and seizures. People have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. People, I wonder why. I guess the Fourth Amendment doesn't matter anymore. Want to jam? Want to make loud noises? Everyone had a crush on Lita Ford. She was the rock and roll queen of the universe. Give me a break. Give me a break. Nurse everybody. Everyone loved Dangerous Curves. Remember that?
Over. Two famous comedians settled with Clayton County and their police department over what they say was a Fourth Amendment violation.
Yes.
Political reporter Doug Reardon joins us now live from Hartsfield Jackson.
It was a Fourth Amendment violation. Them taking away your shit at the airport and searching it like you're a criminal is a Fourth Amendment violation.
Atlanta International. And Doug, this is a story we first brought to light back in 2022, and we have been watching it unfold ever since.
We have, and that is when Clayton County told us they actually ended this program, but here we are all this time later, and the court battle is now over. This was part of what our investigative team exposed in their series, award-winning at that In Plain Sight, where they found DEA agents and local police officers were stopping passengers here in Hartsfield before they got on their flight, questioning them sometimes without evidence and oftentimes because of racial bias, and in some cases confiscating their money, causing them to miss their flight. That is over now.
We found plainclothes drug task force officers searching passengers for money at Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
It started with an A&F investigation and ended with a settlement and a wholesale change to police policy at the world's busiest airport. Those plainclothes officers, A&F Chief Investigator Brendan Key found, were oftentimes racially profiling passengers to conduct searches on. The NYU-based policing project found the same thing.
This was a program that ended up targeting mostly black men traveling in airports.
Two of those. What a coinky dink. Wait a second. You're telling me they were only targeting black men to be illegally searched and seized? Illegally searched and seized? What do you mean? Racial profile? I thought we were living in a post-racial America. What do you mean? the cops were. You mean our boys in blue? The good guys were only targeting black people?
Black men, comedians Eric Andre and Clayton English, were stopped by police on the Jet Bridge in 2022 during one such search. Both were represented by the Policing Project.
We alleged in our complaint that it resulted in from unlawful racial profiling and a practice of unlawful stops. It was humiliating to be pulled out of a line in the Jet Bridge, trapped by the police, and questioned, having their tickets taken.
Clayton County did respond to our request for comment, saying in a statement, quote, as reflected in the settlement agreement between the parties, there has been no admission of any fact or liability whatsoever.
I mean, and if you're a comedian, you're trying to get someplace, right? So you can do a job, you know. That's why people are usually flying. They're not usually on vacation. Some people are on vacation, obviously, but most people are out there trying to get someplace on time. And these assholes, if you're black, they're like, no, you can't get there on time. And then everyone says black people can't be on time anywhere. Well, it's because the cops are illegally searching and seizing them. That's why. For Christ's sake. Stop illegally and searching and seizing the black people, please. It's not that hard. If the penalty for violating our rights was death, would it still occur? I don't know. You know, they want stronger penalties for stuff. Yeah, maybe. Would it still occur if they killed people for violating your rights? How about if there was any penalty for violating your right? How about that? Let's start with just any penalty. We'll work our way up to the guillotine. Okay, like we haven't even got to slaps on the wrist yet. We haven't even got to you're fired. We haven't even got to that. We got nothing. In America, if you are a black person, you have no rights to be outside. Unless you want to draw the heat. If you go outside, you're drawing the heat. You can't go anywhere. Welcome to America. Positrack is losing his health insurance. Why are you losing health insurance? Damn it. Illegal seizures should be seized, indeed. Why are you losing your health insurance? Damn. The audacity of them to have the N-word displayed on huge posters, WTH, across and driving into crowd of protesters while on a sidewalk. The audacity. You talking about Jake Lang? Are you talking about Jake Lang? Where the cops just like did nothing until he was done almost killing them all? I mean, honestly, if a black person drove a big truck, 2 trucks into a crowd of white people, they'd be dead. They'd be shot in the face. 100%. Can't afford it. I can't afford it either, man. I can't afford health insurance. Who can afford health insurance? This is America, man. I can't afford health insurance. I don't even know how I'm supposed to afford house insurance. Insurance. Yeah, the cops were complicit. The cops are always complicit with Nazis. Nazis are always pro-ultra state power, of course. They want more power to the state to control the people. The cops are all about that shit. They love that stuff. I need it. Just got really sick. Oh, Positrack. Doesn't your state have like poor people's insurance? Most states have po-folk insurance. I don't know what state you're in, though. All right, let's keep going. Hey, do me a favor. Drop an emoji in the chat. Let me know what's the deal and how you feeling. What's the vibe today? I'd love to know how you're feeling today, what your vibe is today. I don't have any ideas for a poll. I don't know. I don't have any ideas for polls. What's the vibe today? Drop an emoji in the chat. Let me know. All pigs wallow in the same slop. Oh, man. Here we go.
All right, welcome back into...
Oh, shit. Where's my Donald Trump, man? I just messed that up.
Well, thank you very much. What a nice setting this is. This is something we spent a lot of time and effort bringing the White House back to a level that it should be at for.
Bringing the White House back, we tore out all those stupid roses from the Rose Garden.
Essentially 200 years, no work was done on it. It lived on its
What?
own merit, but we thought it was proper. If you look at the exterior, you'll see it's all been redone and in perfect shape. It's good for another 200 years.
What the hell? Do you believe that the White House has had no work done in 200 years? Is that what you think? 200 years? I happen to remember John F. Kennedy's wife, Jackie, doing a whole thing in the East Wing. No, it has not been 200 years. Donald Trump can't even say one thing without lying. He can't even talk about stupid shit without lying. He can't even talk about regular old stupid shit without lying through his teeth.
Nothing's been done on the White House for 200 years.
What? You mean there's no electricity in the White House? There's no internet? You guys don't have Wi-Fi? 200 years, you guys don't even have electricity. Holy shit. You don't have... Do you have bathrooms? Do you have indoor plumbing? I thought the White House was a modern building. Nothing's been done in 200 years. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, I can't believe it. 200 years have gone by, and we haven't done anything about it. Incredible.
Okay, that's the way I look at it. But very important. It's such a symbol, such a representative.
And all these morons, yeah! 200 more years of doing nothing on the White House, because nothing has ever been done on the White House before Donald Trump. Nothing.
Symbol of us, of what we stand for, and we're very proud to have done it. We're building outside. We're building a beautiful heliport, which has been asked for many, many years. A helicopter would land on wet grass, and it was bad and dangerous. And as you know, over there, we're building a military complex and a ballroom that will be second to none anywhere in the world. We have President Xi coming in 2 weeks, and I was over in China 2 months ago, and we saw the Great Hall of China. Well, now we're going to have a Great Hall, too, in the United States.
We saw the Great Hall of China. We're going to be just like China. Just like China. We're going to murder you if you say anything bad about the government. Anything, you make a joke about me, you're dead. You're going to, you can't. If you don't laugh at my jokes, you're dead. We're going to put flock cameras on everybody's toilet.
Well, he discovered the word groceries. Not only did he discovered the word affordability. He made these words up. He invented these words. Even Democrat. He invented Democrat because no one had ever said Democrat in the history of the Democrats. He was the first one, guys. First one.
I dropped the B. I didn't know there was a B in the word dumb, so I don't know. Dumas. Alexander Dumas. Alexander Dumas, great writer. He wrote so many good books. He's still writing so many good books. Alexander Dumas is such a great writer. The Dumas crack.
So thank you, head strongly. He discovered dumb with a B, yeah. And they're laughing their heads off about it like a bunch of chuckleheads.
It's very important. Very, very important.
Very, very important. We got to do more. Got to do more helipads. More golden toilets.
Live now from Fox, I am Andy Mack. Less than 2 weeks away from some states sending out their mail-in ballots, the Supreme Court clearing the way for the Trump administration to move forward with its effort to overhaul mail-in voting. The order could...
Are you an old person who can't get out of your home and therefore find it difficult to vote? Too bad. You've just lost your right to vote with Donald Trump's abridging of your rights. How has he abridged our rights today?
Prevent the Postal Service from delivering ballots to states that don't comply with President Trump's executive order. So a big decision or ruling coming down today from the Supreme Court, as you see, saying the Supreme Court grants President Trump's request for permission to implement his executive order overhauling the mail-in ballot system. The liberal justices dissent, but the court did not.
Maybe every state should maybe we should disband the USPS. We should just have California Postal Service, and we'll have the Nevada Postal Service. Let's go back to the way it was. I like that, let's break this country up. Let's do it. Why do we need the U.S. Postal Service at all if they're not going to fulfill any of our necessary functions of government? Why do we need any of it? We'll just have a California Postal Service and a Nevada Postal Service, a Texas Postal Service, Missouri, Mississippi. Sorry, you just won't get mail. But you guys don't know how to read anyway. What do you care? You don't need mail. You don't need mail in Mississippi. Let's face it. You don't need mail. You don't need to vote either, Mississippi. Don't worry. We'll just get rid of all of it. Tylenol causes autism. He discovered that. Yes. Donald Trump discovered that. Way to go, buddy.
Rule on whether the order is legal, leaving the door open to more challenges that could slow the plot process even still. Let's be joined right now here on Live Now from Fox from the National Law Journal, Jimmy Hoover. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And these decisions are always somewhat complicated. Simplify it for me. What do we make? What exactly happened? What was decided today?
This is a bit of a complicated one, Andy, but the Supreme Court, by a 6-3 decision, said that it was too early to put the brakes on Trump's executive order, which, as I said in that tweet...
it's too early to sue the president, is what they're saying, because all these states are like, what are you doing? You can't tell me that we can't vote the way we want to vote in our state. And so they sued. And the Supreme Court's like, no, you can't. You can't sue the president. He's the one and only true God.
Kind of overhaul some of the processes that are in the mail ballot system, a system that traditionally has been run entirely by the states. So what that does is basically tell the Trump administration that they can, for now, move forward with plans to implement Trump's directives. One of them in that March executive order relates to compiling.
You say higher energy costs. Robert Boyd, we're going to get to the trade war with Canada. It's not just that. Also, guess where a lot of our timber comes from? And the price of building homes, which Donald Trump promised he'd bring down the price of a home, it's not working. We can't build homes with no labor and no timber. Like those are two kind of necessary ingredients. It's kind of like when you make cookies, you need flour and sugar. You can't build a house without men to build them, or women. They're female construction workers. And you can't do it without timber. Or, sometimes you get steel framed homes, but usually, or aluminum framed homes. Usually in America, though, it's 2x4s, Can't get them. So there you go. We're screwed. I could die in a car accident too. So should we not drive anymore? No, don't drive anymore. Who are you arguing with? Everyone's a friend here right now. I think Headstrong Jay, I think that you are arguing with someone that was being sarcastic, my friend.
Citizenship lists for each state. Another has to do with new regulations from the United States Postal Service about the kinds of ballots, design requirements, specific codes, barcodes that need to be on these mail ballots. Some people have characterized these actions as restrictions. But as I mentioned, the Supreme Court said it's too soon to block any of these specific proposals because there's no, at least at the time that this case made it up to the Supreme Court, there were no actual final plans yet. So as the majority wrote in the unsigned per curiam opinion.
You were being sarcastic too. So I'm the one that's too earnest today. Well, I'm terribly sorry. I'm the one who came out to be too earnest. What a fool I've been. What a goddamn fool I've been. How could I? Oh, you've just ruined my whole day, Headstrong Jay. Horse beef coming out of Canada. Let's do that.
But no Canadian lumber, no Canadian. For little 12-year-old girls, though, we'll allow them to cross. No problem.
I'm the doof. Ich bin so doof. Well, okay, so you're not going to be able to vote. You're going to have a barcode. Some people are saying those are restrictions. Of course they're restrictions.
This afternoon, time will tell whether any of those actions actually live to see the light of day.
And we'll see if they actually have impacts in November. But if they continue to move forward with this, the way the Supreme Court...
Let's wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see if our democracy is intact after this. Let's allow Donald Trump to erode our rights in the Constitution, and we'll just wait and see. Kind of like where we were like, let's just see if Hitler takes over a couple countries and stops. Let's just see if he stops. This is how it happens, boys and girls, and everyone in between. This is how it happens. We appease the dictator, and here we go. Then you wake up one day and you're like, where'd all my rights go? Oh, those were like 10 rights ago, pal. You just woke up. You just were going to wait and see. Remember when we were all going to wait and see? Well, now we're seeing. And you don't have any rights anymore. He tells you what kind of socks to wear. And if you don't wear one of his red hats, well, you're going to go to Guantanamo Bay.
This morning, the wife of a U.S. Army sergeant is the latest spouse of a military service member to be deported from the U.S.
Hold on a second. I saw a video of a construction company owned by a MAGger. He is now crying on the internet because his employees are being abducted by ICE and will take them 3 years instead of 1 year to make. Yeah, what do you know? What do you know? Yeah. They keep on crying. One of my favorite things to see is these people who voted for Donald Trump, all these MAGgers and these racist bastards, and now they're crying on TV, begging to Jesus for Donald Trump to bail out the soy farmers because of his trade war with China, or begging Jesus to make Donald Trump not import ground beef from another country. Oh, please, Jesus, please talk to Donald for me. I hear he talks to you, right? Donald Trump listens to Jesus, right? He's the Antichrist. He ain't listening to Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? It's okay when the president is asked, where is the frozen meat coming from? He says, it's not important. Yeah, it doesn't matter where the meat comes from. It's literally mystery meat, okay? It's literally mystery meat. But let's face it, if you're still eating dead animals in 2026, you've made other mistakes. What do you care where it comes from? You don't know where it comes from. Do you think you know where McDonald's comes from? Give me a fucking break. You don't know where you don't know what's in a McDonald's hamburger. You don't know. If you eat dead animals in America, just aside from the fact that you're supporting, slavery and all that, you are making a huge error. You're making a really dumb mistake. Don't eat dead animals in America.
The Trump administration rolled back immigration protections for military families. Sergeant Haydar Juarez says ICE officers detained his wife Christy outside a Walmart as their daughter watched from her car seat.
They claim they're going for like the worst criminals in this country. My wife doesn't have a criminal record. She has never had any any kind of problems with the law, not even a traffic ticket.
The Homeland Security Department says his wife illegally entered the United States in 2016.
I can't wait until people like Wayne go into the concentration camp and they're like, I can't believe this is happening. Well, you've got TDS. I can't believe they're putting people I love in the concentration camp. Like that guy. Remember that guy we saw? His wife is going into the concentration camp. He can't even contact her. And he's like, I voted for Donald Trump, and I just can't believe this is happening. The love of my life is in a concentration camp. This is the Gestapo. Yeah, we all told you. Hate to say I told you so. So I hope when someone that Wayne loves goes to a concentration camp, we can all be like, hey, shut up, you got TDS. Scott, did you hear about the poisons in Argentina beef? A one-time exposure can kill you. Man, have you ever read The Jungle, the Anicle? Dude. The thing is, like, he's always talking about, they're always talking about ground beef, which is like the least trustworthy. It's the worst one. It'd be like, we're going to start importing hot dogs. Hot dogs? That's what you want to
lift up the tariffs on hot dogs. We got to have more hot dogs. Hot dogs are so important.
From Honduras and was removed from the United States in accordance with our laws. The Associated Press found more than 50 spouses and parents of U.S. military service members have now been swept up in the government's crackdown on illegal immigration. An ABC News review found none of the spouses had criminal records. Advocates claim it's taking a toll on the troops.
Our service members are having to fight two battles, one on the forefront, really because we are a country of war, and at home front, making sure that their families are being taken care of.
In another case, a sailor on the USS Lincoln, who's serving a record 9-month deployment at sea, says his father back in Florida has been detained by Border Patrol. Joshua Avila saying, I don't know how I can mentally continue working 12+ hour days, knowing my dad is somewhere possibly treated like a criminal.
Wait till people start killing each other in the military. Remember, that always happens too. Remember a while back, like during Iraq War, they left those boys out there so long, they started doing weird shit like Abu Ghraib. But also someone just like took a bunch of grenades and threw them on all their friends and killed them all. Remember that? Like weird stuff starts happening when military people get cuckoo. And this guy, he's over on the USS Abraham Lincoln, 9 months deployment, and his dad is being put into a concentration camp. That's how we do morale here. That's the warrior ethos. Welcome to the warrior ethos.
Family saying he was working toward getting legal status. Homeland Security responding, saying having a family member in the military is not a free pass to violate our nation's laws.
Sergeant Trucios and no other service member is.
If you're going through the motions to get legal, usually they're like, oh, okay, you're doing what you need to do. You're doing it the right way. You're going through the process. But in America now, we don't care about that. There's no such thing as due process. So you're just going to the concentration camp. But my son, he's fighting in Iran. Too bad. Too bad. That's a whole different thing. We're killing Iranians. We don't give a shit about that.
Asking for any exception to the law. All we're asking is for the judicial process to take place.
Due process? That's a tall order in America today. Due process? Isn't there... Hold on a second. Isn't there a constitutional amendment about due process? Yeah, there's two of them. The 5th and the 14th. Oh. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, property without due process of law. No person. Applies the same rule in the 14th Amendment, state and local governments. It says no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, property without due process. Oh. Okay, well, that's reassuring. I'm glad we have this Constitution to protect people like this dude's dad.
Now, in a separate development, the Trump administration is now planning to revoke the business and tourism visas of up to 200,000 foreigners who are seeking asylum. The Associated Press says it would be the largest revocation of visas in U.S. history.
The city of Phoenix is continuing to invest in one of its biggest heat mitigation projects.
Oh, you're a Marine? Yeah, then you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the mad shitter phenomenon, the mad crapper all over. That's something that happens on those long floats. People go nuts out there, man. People just jump overboard. You don't know what's happening. That's in normal peacetime, man. That's just normal, like on normal floats, not 9-month floats. This guy's on a cruise for 9 months. He's just sitting in the water. Make you crazy easy. You go crazy out there, bro. You go crazy out there on the water. You get island sickness, man. Deport the future Democrats voters now. So stupid. This is what we're dealing with. This imbecile hates America. This guy hates America. He hates the democratic process, hates the republic, hates everything this country stands for. Banshee nomad, off with your head. You deserve the national razor. I hope it happens to you soon. I hope someone that you love ends up in a concentration camp. It'd be great.
This week, the city is surpassing 200 miles of that cool pavement. It's kind of that gray stuff that they put on the streets to keep it cool.
Yeah, Tori actually described it perfectly earlier. She said it was kind of like sunscreen for the...
You're a Marine veteran. I don't believe you. I don't believe that you're a Marine veteran. A Marine veteran actually has this thing called Semper Fidelis, where they're supposed to be always loyal to the Constitution, and you clearly are not, Banshee Nomad. You're clearly a person who hates America. Up against the wall, Banshee Nomad. Dicks against the wall, gentlemen. Yes, you don't support suicidal empathy? That's because you're a Nazi. That's what Nazis say, idiot. That's a Nazi line. Suicidal empathy, that's a Nazi thing. Don't you realize you're quoting Nazis? That's what Nazis said. You Nazi? You stupid Nazi? That's what's so sad about these new Nazis. They're so dumb, they don't even know they're Nazis. They're like, I'm not a Nazi. The people who are anti-fascist are the Nazis. I mean, and then they'll just quote Nazis. Literally just quoting Nazis like this imbecile. It's unbelievable.
There you go. Yeah, 12 News journalist Tori King, she's been following the story for us. I know that there have been a lot of mixed opinions with cool pavement, whether it works or not, but the city itself...
I don't believe you. Literally a Marine veteran? Bullshit. If anything, you joined and you got early separation because you couldn't pass the psych evaluation, you fucking simp. Goddamn loser. You try to tell me, yeah. You're totally a Marine veteran. I don't believe you for 1 second. You talk like a Nazi, you walk like a Nazi, you're a Nazi, go fuck yourself.
Celebrating that huge milestone today, so maybe, it is working.
Right. Well, and they did team up with ASU to kind of work on the science behind it. And so the research is mostly done through ASU. Really interesting stuff. We are actually here in the middle of one of the neighborhoods. They are starting to set up some cones. We've seen a street sweeper coming through. We're probably going to have to move our cars in just a few minutes, so I'll get through this pretty quickly. But you can see this is one of the roads right here that's being treated. In the middle of this neighborhood, you can see half of this road has already been started to be treated. That's that grayer, lighter color compared to this speed cushion right here, which is a little bit darker asphalt. And so you can sort of see the difference. Very, very slight. But they do say that in terms of heat, it makes a huge difference. Now, cool pavement, it's not paint, okay? It's an asphalt-based sealant, and it's applied over existing streets during routine maintenance. Now, it's made with...
This is crazy. Cool streets. I like this. Let's put more petrochemicals on the streets. In Arizona, they're having cool streets. I want to live on a cool street.
Asphalt, water, polymers, mineral fillers, and recycled materials.
Polymers.
And because it's lighter in color, as you saw, than the traditional black asphalt, they say it reflects more sunlight and absorbs less heat. City officials, like Jade said, they're calling it sunscreen for the roads because of that lighter color and because it reflects more sunlight, meaning that it's going to protect and absorb less heat during the day, and it's going to store less of it in that asphalt after the sun goes down. So what's the history of this program? Well, it's been going on for a few years now. It first began back in 2020 as a 36-mile pilot across 8 Phoenix neighborhoods. Now, after years of studying the results, the city expanded the program to more than 200 miles of residential streets. They even tested the technology at Desert Ridge Marketplace.
I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but it's kind of cool, right? Why would we have black roads? Let's put white roads, and then we'll put black lines on them. Wouldn't that make more sense? I guess. I mean, especially in places like Arizona where it's so goddamn hot. I like this idea. What do you think about the new cool roads in Arizona?
To see how it's going to perform in a commercial setting. So again, researchers with Arizona State University, they use their thermal imaging, temperature sensors embedded in the pavement. And
don't you realize, you dumb Nazis like this guy, you guys, they always come for you too. Don't you realize? Like, I literally studied this in school. You know, the Germans weren't happy under Nazi rule. Even the Aryans, they weren't stoked because they all had someone they loved go to a concentration camp. They all had someone they cared about go to a concentration camp. And then every time they had to cross the street or do anything, they had to get so many stamps and where are your papers? Where are your papers? You must have your papers in order. They had all of that. That's what you want. That's what you want. You're pro-concentration camp. You're anti-American. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi, Mr. Grinch. Your brain is so damn small. You're an imbecile caveman, and we can't get away from you every 100 years. We have to have a bloodbath. If it were between you and a crocodile, I would have the crocodile.
And other scientific tools to study the coating. And the city says that those studies found treated pavement can actually stay about 10 to 12 degrees cooler than traditional asphalt during the hottest parts of the day. City leaders say that they will continue adding cool pavement as residential streets continue to come up for routine maintenance, making it one of several tools that they're using to help address Phoenix's extreme heat. And again, back out here live, we do know crews are starting to show up this morning. They do have plans to continue treating this street and finishing out this neighborhood. We can see a few workers down.
That's kind of cool. I like this. Headstrong J says the only ones that are ICE agents are losers that couldn't serve in the military. They couldn't even be cops. They couldn't even be cops. They were like, the police were like, no thanks. And ICE was going, we need more bodies. We need more people that are down on their luck and need a $50,000 signing bonus. We need people. We need some fresh meat over here. Communists calling me a Nazi in ICE detention center concentration and then literally deport them. They don't literally deport them. You fucking moron. The numbers are lower than they were under Obama. God damn it. Do you know anything? No, you don't know shit. Okay, you don't know anything. You've just revealed you know nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. You're a moron. All right, thank you so much for playing the Moron Olympics. Banshee, you win. You won the Moron gold medal.
Bombshell documents in the State Farm cases that allege the company was running a scheme to defraud policyholders.
News 4's Lauren Henry sat down with the attorneys who have spent years trying to make these documents public.
Yeah, here's the thing. You have to work for 5 years to get the $10K a year. But you know what's crazy? When you sign, you get the $10K. And what these guys do, they go spend it, and then they go show up to work. And they realize this isn't what they signed up for, but they don't have the $10K anymore. And if they want to leave now, if they want to quit, they got to pay back the $10K, but they ain't got it. They bought an F-150, they paid off debts. They can't just leave now. You can't just leave ICE. You took the money. So there's a lot of people who are ICE agents now who don't want to be ICE agents, but are just trying to finish their year because they don't have the money to pay back. So maybe at the end of this year, we'll see some ICE agents drop off. Maybe. So far, none have been shot. Not even one. Not even one has been killed.
Record, and she joins us now in studio to show what they show.
Well, Kevin, Heather, these are those documents that we've been waiting on, and as you can see, it is quite a stack. Now, they contain internal emails between State Farm executives that detail how the insurance company allegedly saved over $1 billion in the first year of the Wind and Hail initiative. Now, attorneys representing State Farm customers say these 31 documents are only the tip of the iceberg.
They prove everything we said was true.
After years of lawsuits.
And I think every customer of State Farm that wants to know why they didn't get paid, they can read these and see why.
Man, I think this is huge, dude. No one's really talking about this right now, but this is in Oklahoma, but State Farm's in trouble all over America. These bastards. You pay your whole life to these goddamn insurance companies. When it comes time for them to pay, what happens? They pull a Brian Johnson on you.
Documents State Farm attorneys fought to keep.
Brian Thompson or Brian Johnson? Who was the guy that Luigi Mangione allegedly shot in the head? What was his name? Thompson. They pull a Brian Thompson on you. Maybe they should pull a Luigi Mangione on him.
Are now out in the open. Hannah and Reggie Witten represent State Farm policyholders. They say the contents are jaw-dropping.
They did a pilot in Dallas County, and it worked. They got bells and charts and whistles and graphs and things that show they're going down. And then they
look at this stolen valor. Stolen valor, Banshee Nomad. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar, baby girl. You're a liar. Rated baby and GI Bill. Liar, pants on fire. Stolen valor, Banshee Nomad committing. It's against the law what you're doing right now, Banshee. It's against the law.
Rolled it out in the country, which included Oklahoma. In the very first year, they lowered indemnity payments to insureds $1.4 billion. Each dollar that's in that $1.4 billion was a human being's claim.
The documents include executives discussing other figures showing the insurance giant outright denying claims 39% of the time.
That is State Farm leadership in 2023 bragging about closing without payment on claims.
Emails also say State Farm saved more than $15,000 per denied claim. According to attorneys, it was all made possible through tactics the company developed with help from outside consulting firms.
So if you're sitting there with State Farm training and you say, hey, this is a total roof replacement, you're going to have another State Farm employee come into your office and say, sorry, buddy, you're approving too many roofs. You are incentivized to deny claims.
5 years ago, a local agent in Kentucky emailed the then CEO and CFO saying, quote, reputable companies that for years have loved working with us now say we're just as bad as Allstate.
When you have agents emailing leadership in 2021 saying, please fix how we're handling wind and hail claims, what do? They double down with.
These documents are only the beginning. The Wittens are still pushing for more, and they say the scheme doesn't end with wind and hail.
They also implemented similar tactics on water losses, on fire losses, on auto losses. So it is at this point unknown how many billions of dollars State Farm has saved on all lines of insurance.
This is probably the smartest, most beautiful woman in all of Oklahoma right here. This is the smartest, most beautiful woman in all of Oklahoma, and she's holding these insurance companies to task. I'm really glad they're making these reports because I have to buy homeowners insurance and car insurance right now because I recently moved, and I'm not going to do State Farm or Allstate because of these bastards. They lie. That's why I'm never doing business with Wells Fargo. Never again. I will never have a Wells Fargo account. Never. 311, like exposing yourself. You had 311, like 311, like the band, like exposing yourself. Is that what you're talking about? Banshee, we don't care, man. You practicing stolen valor. It's against the law, bro. Please stop claiming to be. Just because your daddy was in the Marines doesn't mean you were a Marine, okay? No one believes you. Please stop. It's against the law what you're doing. It's against the law. Hey, Watching Humans is here, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe with like and subscribe with Watching Humans. What's the deal and how you feeling, Skylar? I hope you're having a great day. Wells Fargo and Bank of America suck. I know. I've had Bank of America. I want to change. I want to do like a credit union. It's so difficult to move shit around though, you know. But Wells Fargo to me is the worst one. Won't do it. Wood chipper for fake soldiers. Exactly. Won't do it. Stolen valor, you don't know what that is? It's when someone claims to have been in the military when they haven't. You're a liar, and I don't believe a word you say because you're a Nazi. I don't believe Nazis. I don't believe what Nazis say. Immediately, when you out yourself as a Nazi, I immediately discount everything you say thereafter. Thank you so much. Man, the most beautiful woman and smartest woman in Oklahoma. She's really saving lives.
How do you interpret that? Why would a candidate for the U.S. Senate invite that person on the campaign trail repeatedly? Now, whatever the answer, it is clear that El-Sayed has terrible judgment, his unwillingness to condemn his friend, and...
I don't know. Have you ever heard of Kid Rock? Would you like to look up some of the things that Kid Rock said? I think if you looked up the things that Kid Rock has said and the things that Hassan Piker has said, I think that Hassan Piker would look like a little angel compared to Kid Rock. Didn't Kid Rock have a whole song about a pedophilia? Like... Let me look that up. Didn't Kid Rock have a song about pedophilia or like some inappropriate relationship with a young girl? AI says, Mike Gemini says, yeah, cool, daddy, cool. Young ladies, I like them underage, see. Some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. There you go. Some say it's statutory. I say it's mandatory. That's what Kid Rock said. So, I mean, Donald Trump associates with Kid Rock and takes him on the campaign trail. But Donald Trump loves pedophiles because, you know, he is one. They all hang out together. The thing about pedophiles, once they find each other, those guys are locked in, man. That is a bond that cannot be broken. That's why Donald Trump never talks trash about Jeffrey Epstein. He can't bring himself to do it. He can't bring himself to open those files. He can't bring himself to show you what actually went down between him and his friends. He can't do that. It's disgusting. But hey, Hassan Piker's the scary guy because he's saying things like, I like communism as a good idea. And you know, Hassan Piker... He says he's a communist, but he's wearing, you know, fancy dancy clothes and shit. Is he a communist? Is Hassan Piker really a communist? Who knows?
maybe that's why he keeps attacking, in this case, the second lady of our country, and that's Usha Vance. Now, the latest smear came after Vice President Vance dared to criticize Sharia law. I would argue Sharia is incompatible with Western values myself. Syed responded with a racist.
Epstein donated heavily to the Democratic Party. So did Donald Trump, you fucking Listen, Donald Trump was a Democrat until like yesterday. Don't you realize that? You're so dumb that you don't realize that the people who love power do not care about party. Only idiots like you care about party. The Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. Whoever has the power, all the rich and powerful, they love the guys in power. That's how it works. People like Donald Trump love being around people who have power, so he became a Democrat. He was a Democrat for the most of his life. Most of his life, just like Jeffrey Epstein. He and Jeffrey Epstein hung out together. They did Democratic national convention style fundraisers and shit. They did that together. Donald Trump was a fundraiser for the Democratic Party, just like his friend Jeffrey Epstein. Huh. What do you know?
This post on X writing, quote, so do we think that JD is taking Usha with him back in time to meet Paw Paw, that's Vance's grandmother and grandfather, or no?
Peepaw, Paw, Paypaw. What did he call it? What does JD Vance call his grandpa? Pow, Peepaw.
The second lady sat down with Fox and Friends for an interview, by the way, it will air on Wednesday, had this to say about El-Sayed's remarks. Take a listen.
Abdul El-Sayed. So I actually saw that this morning. I don't have social media, so I missed it, but someone showed it to me. And I mean, I have to admit, I kind of laughed because, yes, I never met JD's mama and papa, but I
Mama and Papa. I love how these fucking these war criminals, they love to get you to believe that they're so down homey. Mama and Papa. Oh, you never got to meet Mama and Papa. Ding dang do. That's so unfortunate. Let's read the Hillbilly Elegy and find out his humble beginnings, because J.D. Vance is a good old country boy. He's just like one of those folks you'll just run into at the Cracker Barrel. Go down to the Walmart, pick yourself up some Jujubes and some Jolly Ranchers, and then head on over to the Cracker Barrel, and we'll all hang out. Me, Pawpaw, J.D. We'll all have a good old time.
do know and love the children that they raised, you know, his mom, his aunt and uncle, and they have never been anything but incredibly loving. I mean, his aunt is like a second mother to me. And so I have to think that if they raised children like that, they would have been loving as well. And I would have really, really, really loved to have met them.
Yeah.
A lot of people online think that was a rather racist attack. I'll let you be the judge.
Racist? How is that racist? I'm guessing that J.D. Vance's pawpaw was probably racist. I don't know. J.D. Vance's pawpaw, where was he from? Where was J.D. Vance's pawpaw from? Oh, Jackson, Kentucky. Yeah. Pawpaw lived in Middletown, Ohio in the 1940s, but after they grew up in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, I'm guessing they wouldn't approve of Usha. Who gives a shit? I mean, I don't know. I guess like I'm lucky because like my grandma and grandpa, my pawpaw and meemaw, they were construction families, so we were always around people of different ethnic backgrounds because that's who works construction. And so my life, I always had, my neighborhood had a lot, it was very diverse, and the people that were by the house were very diverse. But my grandma still, my meemaw, mamaw, whatever the fuck, she would sometimes say some stuff. She'd say like the colored part of town. It's like, grandma, what the hell? But she wasn't like we had people of color at the houses all the time. Like they had friends and like they were like family. So I don't know. It's a weird thing with old people, you know, like it was weird. It's weird. It was weird. I just thought she would just say weird stuff like the colored part of town. But I don't know. That's just how old people talked. I don't think she hated colored people. I don't think she hated anybody. She's from Nebraska and moved to California. I don't think she was racist like people raised in the hills of Kentucky. I'll tell you that, you know. People who pretend you can be racist to white people are lying. Well, I mean, racism's racism, I guess. I don't know. I mean, racial relations, racism is about thinking you're superior to other races. Only white people can do that. Can only white people do that? I don't know. I think that any race can do that. That's not only white people. In America, I guess you might be saying. I don't know. I think racism is judging people by their race rather than what they actually bring to the table. And that's a different thing than you're saying. But whatever. We don't need to solve everyone's racial issues right here on this show. Let's just say that racism's bad and move on, huh? And Meemaw and Pawpaw were probably pretty fucking racist and probably never even had they probably never even saw someone from India. They probably never saw anyone from India, don't you think? Like and subscribe, everybody. Racists love to say only white people can be racist. Is that true? Is that true? My Pawpaw and Meemaw were real conservatives. They accepted Section 8 at their apartments and helped pay energy bills if tenants needed. A free laundry room, legit helping people. But they were real conservatives, huh? Were they racist? I think like sometimes it comes out. Like I remember one time, man, my aunt from Nebraska came by. She came to a funeral. Somebody died, you know, and I only met her a few times. And she said it was a coon's age since she'd seen us. And I'm like, that sounds pretty racist too. Is a coon's age, is that racist? Seems racist. It's not originally racist. Oh, it normally isn't racist, but it has become inappropriate because it does contain a racial slur. When coon became an anti-black racial slur, but the term out is actually older. but you could say dog's age, and that's perfectly acceptable. Okay, a dog's age. I don't know. Racism. It's funny. It's a funny thing in America, racism.
Hanging out with Hassan Piker. Poor judgment to say the least. But again, attacking the second lady, pretty reprehensible. All right, thanks for watching.
Again, how the hell can Sean Hannity or any of you maggers say that anybody has bad judgment for hanging out with Hassan Piker or anybody else? I don't care who you're hanging out with. When Donald Trump hung out with Jeffrey Epstein, like best friends, shared jets, shared women, Jeffrey was at Melania and Trump's wedding. Jeffrey said that he introduced Melania and Trump and that they sealed the deal, if you know what I mean, on Lolita Express, according to Jeffrey Epstein. So what do you mean it's bad judgment to hang out with Hassan Piker? I mean, I'm not a Hassan Piker fan or anything, but I would much rather hang out with Hassan Piker than Jeffrey Epstein. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. I don't know. Let me know. I'm going to put let's do it in the chat. Let's do a poll right now, right here, please. I'm going to do a poll. I want to know. Okay, I got to bring up. God damn it. Stupid YouTube. Come on, YouTube. YouTube. God damn it, YouTube. All right, here we go. We're going to do a poll right now. Just for you guys, we're going to do a poll. Let's start a poll. Who would you rather have a beer with? Hassan Piker, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, at the end of the day, this is like kiss, marry, kill, right? Kiss, marry, kill. And who would you kiss, marry, or kill? I mean, I think I probably would have a fine time hanging out with Hassan Piker. I don't think I would have a good time hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. Just saying. If anybody's watching, if you're on Kick or Facebook or on the horizontal and you want to answer the poll, it's only on the vertical stream. It's only on the vertical stream. I'm sorry. I can't do it on all the other ones.
And another.
Actually, I can. Let's do it. There's a new poll right there. Would you rather chill with Piker, Epstein? And okay, so now we have another one. You can put a 1 or a 2. Put a 1 or a 2 in the chat. Well, 1 or a 2 in the chat if you're on Kick, horizontal, YouTube, or Facebook. Go ahead and put it in the chat. I want to know how you guys feel. I want to know how you guys feel about this. I think it's important to know. Looks like 100% are saying Piker so far. Where's my maggers at? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're voting for, if you'd rather hang out with Hassan Piker, please.
Topic on politics. Far-left streamer Hassan Piker kicking up a hornet's nest of outrage after leading.
Everyone on Fox News is talking about Hassan Piker right now.
Crowd and singing a song mocking Charlie Kirk over the weekend. Here's how it went.
He sang a song mocking Charlie Kirk? Oh my God. He's doing karaoke with the We Are Charlie Kirk. We are Charlie Kirk. I should learn how to play that on guitar. I wonder that. Next time we do a guitar stream, please let's look up to see. Someone remind me to see if we can look up the We Are Charlie Kirk song.
So that sparked furious reaction online. Turning Point spokesman Andrew Colvett posting, Hassan Piker is engaging in pure, unadulterated evil. Let's bring our panel. Caroline
Pure, unadulterated evil. Again, pure, unadulterated evil. Donald Trump hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. I would call that pure, unadulterated evil. That's evil. Jeffrey Epstein, evil. Hassan Piker, mildly annoying to conservatives and to some libs. I mean, a lot of libs don't like Hassan Piker. He's a mildly annoying content creator. Mildly controversial. You guys are pro-pedophile. You maggers are pro-pedophile. You love a guy who's a pedophile, who admits Donald Trump admitted to being a chomo on the Howard Stern show several times. He's admitted to being a chomo. And yet you support him. But you think Hassan Piker's evil because he thinks, I don't know, workers' rights and that communism's a good idea. That's evil. Thinking communism's a good idea is evil, but buying and selling 12-year-old girls and boys, totally okay in your book. Cool.
Guess it's great to have you both. So Austin Sloss, the congressman that Alex Hogan talked about, was on Fox News Sunday. He was asked about this Piker song that he sang, and this is what he said.
I reject Hassan Piker's ideology, whether it was seeming to celebrate or at least excuse 9/11, whether it is...
Look, no one's excusing 9/11. I don't know what his thing, excusing 9/11. Even right after 9/11, there were people who said, like Noah Churchill and stuff like that, who said, we kind of had it coming. Like, no one thinks it's a good thing, but we kind of had it coming. Like, America sort of has something like that coming after what we do in the Middle East, in the Far East, in the Gulf states, what we do all over the world in South America. We kind of have shit like that coming. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that it doesn't happen more often is a true testament to how scary America is and how good we are at bombing. So, I mean, like, how good our spies are and stuff like that. The fact that we don't have 9/11 every day is a miracle. A miracle, because we kind of got it coming. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm not excusing the actions. But if a 9/11 happens in America and you're like, oh, this is totally surprising. I can't believe, why would anybody ever want to do this to us? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. We got it coming. We double tapped a school full of children in Iran. We killed 169 with 2 Tomahawk missiles because when the first one didn't get the job done and they were evacuating, we hit it with another one. Little girls, all girls. So, you know, we kind of got it coming. Like, you're an idiot if you think we ain't got it coming. Sorry. Erica Whack Charlie. Maybe. Fox News is like a bootleg version of the news for high school morning announcements. Am I mentally unstable? No, man, I'm high on life, baby doll. I'm high on life. What are you talking about? Naggers can't figure out the poll. Yeah, they can't do it. Sandra Lund, she realized, Sandra Lund, you know you'd rather hang out with Piker than Epstein, right? Hassan can hang out with me any day, carry the flame. We are Charlie Kirk. America needs a taste of its own. I mean, I hope that it doesn't because I live in America. I don't want that to happen. But if it happens, I think I'm not allowed to be like, oh, how could this happen to us? We were just minding our business. That's always the greatest. Americans, they just want to believe, they want you to believe that there we were. That's like the greatest, you know, we claim to care about, you know, like in Pearl Harbor happens. We were just minding our business and those evil Japanese, they bombed Pearl Harbor. There we were just minding our own business. We didn't do anything to them. We didn't do anything to nobody. Us, America, we're the good guys. We never did nothing. We never did nothing to nobody.
To excuse the assassination of Charlie Kirk, which I condemned immediately, the Democratic Party does not stand for what Hassan Piker stands for.
Caroline, maybe start with the fact that they thought leading a group in song about Charlie Kirk's murder in a mocking way was the right thing to do.
We are Charlie Kirk.
It's so tiresome how the left pretends like they're the ones under threat as well as democracy itself, and then they literally relish political violence. This isn't a reluctant revolution where they say, well, you know, the Republican opponents, they're Nazis, we got to be really aggressive. They're actually grave stomping in a jubilant way. I mean, Hassan Piker wears the costume of Mao Zedong, who is the most murderous dictator of the 20th century. He blows the death toll.
Hold on a second. Was Mao Zedong the most murderous dictator of the 20th century? I don't know about that one, darling. Is Mao Zedong, by total estimated number of deaths, by state policies and famines, he is. But it's more, of course, it's more complicated than that. Sure, political purges and land reform did actually kill a lot of people, but famines and the rest were worse. 30 million, 45 million died from starvation, exhaustion, and state violence. Oh, Mao. Mao, 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 Mao. Poor Mao Zedong.
Of Hitler and Stalin out of the water. That's a very intentional wardrobe choice, and everybody knows it. But Jonathan Turley wrote a great column about this song and the way that the crowd was celebrating it. And he's right that Charlie Kirk built Turning Point USA on persuasion and substance and argumentation, good-hearted, reasonable
Substance?
debate. The reason why
Good-hearted? Something was good-hearted about Charlie Kirk? Look, man, I don't think Charlie Kirk should have died. But he kind of had it coming. I mean, the guy was a racist garbage human. He was a very bad man. He was a fascist. He spread fascist ideology. He was a Nazi. I don't cry when Nazis die. Do I think that someone should have? No, I don't. I wish he didn't get shot, actually. I wish that he hadn't gotten shot because I wanted him to live long enough to see one of his daughters come out of the closet. I think that would have been great. I would love for one of his daughters to be trans and him have to deal with that. I love it when Republicans have to do that. They live long enough and they realize, oh, ding dang do. Like Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney lived long enough to find out one of his daughters is gay, and that everything that he fought for with the unitary principle of governance, with the the executive branch being the only branch that matters, that he marched us into fascism. He got to live long enough to see that he done messed up. There you go. Ain't that great? Have you ever seen the movie Vice? Man, I think it's Christian Bale's best role. He's incredible. Vice, have you seen Vice? Christian Bale as Dick Cheney? Unbelievable.
they are stomping on the graves of the dead, they're mocking them, is because they've run out of arguments. So they're past that point. This is the only thing they know how to do.
Democrats are getting a whole lot of questions about socialism these days. Maryland Senator Chris Van
whole
Hollen
lot.
press over the weekend. He admitted he's kind of kicking the tires a little bit on a possible presidential run in 2028. And then he stumbled over a simple question. Would he accept a DSA endorsement? Take a listen.
I'm not going to sort of look into all these endorsements. I'm not going to reject an endorsement.
I mean, Donald Trump accepted an endorsement from the KKK. So, I don't know. Again, who would you prefer an endorsement from? Let's do another poll real fast. Let's do another poll on the vertical chat. Oh, it looks like 17%, all of the MAGers, 17% of you thought that Epstein is a better person to hang out with than Hassan Piker. That's great. I mean, I'm glad that we come right out in the open and say it. You weird little magtards. All right, so who would you rather endorse a candidate, a presidential candidate? Is it the KKK or DSA? There you go. The DSA or the KKK. Who would you rather endorse a candidate? There you go. See, to me, I know that you got to be with either the Nazis at this point or the DSA. This is the future. Why would Neaton go out of his way to confirm he didn't assassinate Kirk? That's sus. Super sus. Super sus. You talk about Netanyahu? Liberals are the school shooter party. What are you talking about? Liberals are the school... Liberals? I thought liberals were the limp-wristed guys that can't carry guns. You're telling me that liberals are the ones with all the guns? Huh. Shocking. I didn't know. The liberals are the ones that have all the guns? Wild. They support them and make jokes about them? Oh my gosh. Andrew, what are you talking about? What are you talking about there, honey pie? What do you mean? School shooters? I don't know what you're talking about. The liberals, they're raised with are liberals raising the blue-haired hippie liberals are raising their kids with firearms? I had no idea. You don't have to be strong to pull a trigger? Well, I know. I mean, if you've ever done it, you probably can do it. But you need to be raised with guns. You need to know how to use them. You know how to load them. You know how to aim them. I don't know. It's weird that you think liberals, all the liberals that I know are terrified of guns. Every liberal I've ever met is terrified of guns. What are you talking about? Terrified. They cry when there's a gun around. They cry. And you think they're the ones who are shooting up the schools? I don't know. I don't think you've thought this through there, buddy.
By certain individuals at the DSA, but I'm certainly not seeking any endorsement from the DSA. This whole debate is an effort by Republicans, as you heard from Senator Scott, to try to reduce, the turnout for Democrats. At the end of the day, what unites Democrats is economic populism.
Trans people were multiple school shooters. Yeah, there have been some trans school shooters. Yeah, that's true. There have been some trans school shooters. Most of them are white boys, though. Almost all of them. There's been a couple girls, a couple trans people. Most of them are white boys. So I guess lock up all the white boys, because lock up all the incels, because they're all dangerous for some reason. All the white boys are dangerous. And they're all liberal white boys, apparently. All the liberal white boys who are afraid of guns. Yeah, totally. It's them. ICE, for example, we ass fools can only pull a trigger. It's true. Weak ass fools can. Yeah. MAGA is obsessed with, yes, trans people. Of course, they're obsessed. They can't get a hold of themselves. I'm sure that there are some liberals that shoot up schools. I mean, considering that a lot of liberal rhetoric does include LGBTQ, and they were probably harassed. Maybe, but are they? The claim was that liberals are school shooters. Ding dang do. That ain't the case. Sorry, pal. Yeah, 80% of shooters are Christian conservatives. Yeah. We already knew that. I mean, the Oklahoma City bombing and all that shit. MAGA crashes Grindr. There's a lot of mags in the closet. Almost all of them. Almost every magger's in the closet. Think about, have you seen how they all want to bang? They all want to get buck fucked by Donald Trump. It's weird.
Standing up for working people.
Rich, decipher that for us. This wasn't a gotcha question, right? He essentially says, I'm not looking for an endorsement from the DSA, but I'm not going to reject one either.
Well, if he rejects it at his own peril if he wants to be a candidate in 2028, because the DSA controls everything. That's why you're
Democrats started the KKK. Yeah, they called them the Dixiecrats back then. But now the KKK endorses the Republican Party every 4 years. So what's the deal, Banshee? Did you miss that part of history lesson? Did you miss that part? Did you stop learning history in 1830? Is that when you stopped looking at history? Yeah, because you're a moron. You're an imbecile. I'm sorry. You can't play with the other children because you're special. We got to put you on a special bus. We got to put you in special classes because you're a little back. You're a little held back. We used to call that I don't like saying that word. We used to say that word, but that's really what it means. It means held back. You're a little held back. We got to put you on a special bus there, kid.
Every Democrat, and this is what's happening right now, every mainstream Democrat is capitulating to the DSA. Chuck Schumer now saying we're a big tent, they're welcome here, because in order for them to maintain power, they have to kiss the ring of the DSA, which, by the way, is kissing the ring of Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker is not endorsing Republicans, and no Republican wants his endorsement. He's backing Democrats who are winning primaries. So the bottom line is this. If you have ambition for 2028, you better fall in line with the DSA. That means you got to back the billionaires tax, you better get on board Medicare for all, and eventually you're going to have to say, it's a big tent, and we want you in it.
Well, that's what Hakeem Jeffrey said.
Billionaire tax and Medicare for all? I'm in. Okay. See, the thing is, you keep on hearing woke one is crazy, and woke one is crazy because what woke one was all about was identity politics, because the billionaire class and the maggers really were able to say, look at those woke people. It's all about identity politics. It's all about trans people. It's all about all of these things, about black people wanting equal rights and stuff like that. And they woke people, the people in 2020, they fed right into that. They had these big protests about, cancel all the cops and all that stuff, cancel culture and all that bullshit. Well, I shouldn't say bullshit, because it served a purpose, didn't it? It got a lot of people together. Now, woke 2.0 is about systemic economic oppression, which resonates with everybody. Hey, Medicare for all. Aren't you the ones that are all about how black people? No, man, we're not talking about blacks and whites anymore. We're talking about rich and poor. Way to go. I love that this woke movement is growing up. I love that they're growing up. It's like watching all these teenagers get older, They're getting older and they're realizing it's not about black or white. It's not about young or old. It's about rich and poor. It's always been about rich and poor. It's not about left or right. It's about rich and poor. So billionaire tax, Medicare for all. Count me in, baby.
Last Sunday, too. He's like, I don't agree, but you're also welcome. Right. So there was that. El Sayed, the candidate in Michigan, he and J.D. Vance got into it a little bit over the weekend. So J.D. Vance had gone to Ohio. He slammed him and then came back. This is what El Sayed said about Usha Vance. Excuse me, here it is. It's on X. So do we think J.D. is taking Usha with him back in time to meet Papa or no? Okay, so this is a reference to Usha Vance and her heritage. This is what Vance said.
Is it a reference to Usha Vance and her heritage? Sort of. I mean, Usha Vance probably would not be accepted by Pawpaw, who grew up in the mountains of eastern Kentucky.
About El Sayed on Friday, which led to all this.
I'd love to go back in time and tell my papaw that there's a man who claims to stand for working people who says not only should we have...
The move, well, it was a mixed bag, and it's still going on. It was sort of a nightmare, but I love where I live, so that's good. I'm happy about the move, but it's been a little rocky. You know, getting here, getting everything set up. It's a lot. It's a lot, buddy boy. Thank you for asking, Captain Sticky Beard Gaming. It's a whole thing. The move. I live in Albuquerque now. Albuquerque. I should have took a left at Albuquerque. Albuquerque, home of the radical left anarchist movement.
Real law, but if you criticize it, you're a white supremacist. That's not my papaw's Democrat Party, my friends.
My papaw's Democrat Party. My papaw was part of the Democrat Party in 1940, and he did not like it. He did not like all that stuff, all that talk about
He
Meemaw.
had a stream of tweets over the weekend, like his preferred way to communicate. How do you think that's going to go over with Michigan voters, and how wrong is it to bring Usha Vance into it?
Oh, I think there's ample fodder in El Sayed's rhetorical history for Republicans to pounce on. I mean, this is gutter-level politics, this kind of race-based...
This is gutter-level politics? Okay, so let me introduce you to this guy named Donald Trump, who literally led a 3-year campaign talking about how the first black president wasn't born here and was illegitimate because he was black. That's gutter-level politics. Donald Trump, for 3 goddamn years, did YouTube shows, had a YouTube channel about how Barack Obama wasn't born here because he's black, shouldn't be president. Like, that's how he became popular. That's how he became into politics. He was already popular, sort of. He was famous, at least. But that's how he got into politics, talking shit on Barack Obama.
I don't like him. He's not really American.
Gutter level politics? I'm sorry. No.
That he's playing into. He's insulting the wife of the vice president. I mean, I don't think this is going to perform well among the moderates and independents in Michigan. You know, he basically implied that the Midwest is filled with bigots who think like this. That was the
Yeah, I mean, the Midwest is filled with bigots that think like this, especially in 1940.
implication of the stereotype that he was peddling. And, you know, recent polling suggests that he's actually underperforming right now. Benson.
I mean, literally, MAGers hate Usha Vance. They hate her. Steve Bannon and all these guys, they hate her because she's not white. They hate her. It's not just in the Midwest. People like Banshee, people like the MAGers in my chat hate Usha Vance. They hate her. I think he hates her now that he's Catholic. Now that he's Catholic, he probably hates her too. Probably hates his own kids because they're not white Catholic.
Other Democrat in the state across every single demographic, including white people, including males, including women, except for Muslims. If he thinks he can ride victory on that alone, I think he's sadly mistaken.
Rich, we'll give the final word to you here. You would think El Sayed would want to be targeting his opponent, right? Mike Rogers.
Yeah.
But over the weekend in recent days, the 2 people he's been targeting are Usha Vance and Natalie Hart.
Usha Vance and Natalie Hart. I mean, it is fun to throw tomatoes over at Usha Vance and Natalie Hart. I don't think Usha Vance is really catching that much fire. They're just like, how dare you? I guess you guys forgot about how Donald Trump posted videos of Michelle Obama, her head superimposed on a baboon. Did you miss that? Do you remember when Donald Trump posted a video of Michelle Obama's head superimposed on the body of a baboon? Do you remember that? Now that's gutter level politics. Abdul Al-Sayed saying that I think that that your boy J.D. Vance's papaw was probably a racist because he's from eastern hills of Kentucky in 1940. I'm guessing he wouldn't approve of the union between J.D. Vance and Usha Vance. I don't know that that's gutter politics. I think that's I think a reasonable assessment of history. Someone in 1940 Kentucky probably didn't even know, probably never met someone from India. Probably never met anyone from India. Probably had those little racist salt and pepper shakers and stuff. Kentucky.
President's assistant. Your thought?
Yeah, well, I can't wait to see Jesse Waters tear into him tonight. Like, I am, get the popcorn ready. It's going to be great. He's a
Yeah,
bad
it's gonna be
candidate.
great.
He has bad strategy. He doesn't want to talk about the issues. So if he talks about the issues, he loses. Remember something. Everything he ran on works in a primary to get the nomination. It doesn't play with auto workers in Detroit. It doesn't play with black voters. It doesn't play with anybody who has two brain cells together who realizes how expensive all this is going to be. So yeah, he wants to spend time on the internet rage tweeting and rage baiting everybody because that's what he's used to.
Why did he convert to Catholicism? Well, he needs a Christian religion in order to be popular with the white Christian nationalists. Why Catholicism? I don't understand, since it's a foreign religion, and traditionally the white Christian nationalists don't like the Catholics. But I think Catholicism's got a lot going for it. It's a big club. There's a lot of little rituals and stuff. Like, I was raised Catholic. It's fun, but like a real Catholic, I left the church. I got a friend of mine. He was Buddhist and he just became Catholic, and he's like all in, man. He wants a Catholic wife. He's on Catholic dating sites. He's like all in on the Catholic stuff. He met a woman who had gotten married. She's divorced, and he wants her to get annulment because divorce is bad for Catholics. She's Catholic, but she got divorced, and he wants her to get an annulment. And I'm like, bro, what the hell do you care about the holy sacraments? What do you care? What the hell do you care? Well, I take this seriously. I'm a convert. These converts, they're so weird. Converted Catholics are the worst ones. The people who convert to Catholicism are the craziest fucking Catholics every time.
Remember, this guy came from a world of being a viral sensation. He's never actually had a real job. He's never actually produced.
Yeah, Biden was Catholic. Biden was Catholic, which meant that he was anti-abortion and an anti-death penalty. Which is why, when he left office, he commuted all the death penalty. Anybody who had a death sentence in the federal government, he commuted all of their sentences. Kind of a badass move, actually.
Anything in life. So that's where he's most comfortable. And if he stays there, that's where he's most safe as a candidate.
All right, Rich Zeoli, it's great to see you on a Monday morning. Caroline, thanks for being here to kick us off. We have a lot more to come. As Rich just mentioned, you are going to be able to catch more.
Oh, yeah.
While the U.S. unemployment rate remains near a 50-year low, an economic research firm shines a light on a disturbing figure regarding our job market. As of July, the unemployment rate stood at 4.1%. But according to data from the Ludwig Institute for Shared Economic Prosperity, the true rate of unemployment was actually at 24.9%. Now, the economic research firm looks not only at unemployed workers and those searching for a job to capture a real look at the labor market, but also those who are something called functionally unemployed. Now, that includes those who are involuntarily working part-time and who are earning poverty-level wages.
Functionally unemployed. People who are working slave labor. Makes sense.
Less than $26,000 annually, and that's before taxes. So CBS Money Watch reports now. So
$26,000 before taxes?
The official unemployment rate from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which we all rely on as an indicator of the health of the labor market, measures the share of workers who are 16 and older who are looking for work and don't have jobs.
Got it.
So it's very blunt. The creator of this other alternative measure, which captures the share of workers who are functionally unemployed, includes those workers as well as workers who are involuntarily working part-time. So they want full-time jobs. They don't have them. They may only be working a few hours a week, as well as those workers who are earning poverty-level wages. So the measure, it helps explain the chasm between
Osama bin Laden referred to the ex. Are you talking about Sarah Palin? I mean, Sarah Palin used to tell a joke. I think you're talking about Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin used to always tell this joke. You know what the difference is? Okie dokie. You know what the difference is between a pit bull and a hockey mom? Lipstick. She tell that joke all the time during the campaign. The only difference between a pit bull and a hockey mom is lipstick. Yeah, you're just a pit bull with lipstick on. We're Maverick. I'm a Maverick.
And almost 25% of workers who are characterized as functionally unemployed. And it's because it includes these folks who can't afford nutritious meals and maybe don't have adequate shelter. Its creator, Gene.
Involuntary. I guess the idea is that they're working part-time, but they want to be working full-time. So involuntary, they're working part-time. They want to be working full-time, but they can only get part-time work, and they're making under $26,000 before taxes. That's what they were saying. Involuntary part-time. Because a lot of people want to be working full-time, but a lot of companies will keep you at part-time. So they'll only work you like 26 hours. This is something that's very common, actually, where you'll say to someone, I need you for 26 hours a week, but I need 35 hours so I can get health care. Nope, 26 hours is all I can give you. And I need full availability so I can so that I can schedule you whenever I want, so you can't get another job. That's involuntary part-time work. You see, you're not allowed to get another job because you'll lose your part-time job. You can't get 2 jobs because they want you to schedule whenever they want. And they won't work with your availability. They'll just fire you. That happens a lot. Tons, especially in like food and beverage. Tons.
Ludwig told me that, you could be homeless and have worked 1 hour for the past week and you'd be considered as having a job.
Okay, so when you look at that functionally...
There you go. You work 1 hour and you're homeless. Well, you're not unemployed.
Unemployment rate. What does it tell you about the labor market in general?
It suggests that it might not be as rosy as it seems. The rate of functionally unemployed workers has risen for the past 4 months. The labor force participation rate is declining.
Right.
And normally in a strong labor market, if there were good jobs...
Yeah, someplace you saw the warehouse workers. That's very famous. So you'll have 24-hour warehouses, but they don't always have as much work because they only work when people are ordering shit. So they don't want a bunch of people standing around. So they say, okay, I need you for these 4 hours a day. And you're like, well, that's only 20 hours a week. I know, but you only find out when your 4 hours a day are every 2 weeks because the schedule comes out every 2 weeks. And then you can't ever get another job because they're fucking with your schedule all the time, but you can only get 20 hours. So even if you wanted to get a second job, you can't. And they won't give you more than 20 hours because if they did, they'd have to pay benefits. They won't even give you 6 hours a day because if they did, they'd have to pay you for a 30-minute meal break. So or 2 15-minute breaks, and then they'd have to give you a meal break unpaid. But these things, the corporations, even me as a manager, we thought about this shit all the time. And I always said, like, okay, if you want to get a second job, at least give me 3 days that I can schedule you when I want. Just tell your other job they can have you Tuesday through Sunday, and I get you Monday and Tuesday or whatever. I'll get you Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the other job gets you Wednesday through Saturday or whatever. I try to work with people, but most big corporations and shit, they don't work with people.
We're paying high wages. That would lure folks in. But it suggests that workers are having a hard time finding good jobs. And we do know that inflation is outpacing wage gains. And so workers are earning raises. But if you get a 3% raise, inflation's at 4%, that's going to feel like a 1% pay cut.
It's a race. Yeah, I think about my kids who are going into college right now, part of that labor market. Megan Cirillo,
right.
Thank you so much. Good to have
Thanks,
Your kids are going to college? Oh, congratulations. That's really exciting. Okay, here we go. No, this is Gutfeld. Here we go.
A story in 5 words. Trump forgives creepy lawyer pal.
Do you remember, sir, when I went on CNN with Brianna Keeler and she told me...
Remember, sir, when we went all those things? Remember we were standing side by side, sir? It was such a great time. Remember that, sir? We were having such a good time, you and me, Mr. Trump.
That you were underwater in the polls, and I responded with those famous 2 words, says who, which became some worldwide meme.
And advocate, and then they weaponized you like nobody's ever been weaponized, like you have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
And you, yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever seen before. But they weaponized you. They weaponized a lot of people. And
they weaponized you.
The fact that you recanted everything you said, and that's a big thing that you did. That's a very big thing.
So
all right,
gross.
So Stu, what does it say about Trump and it's so weird that he has all these enemies that he ends up forgiving?
Because he's a fucking criminal. Because he knows the game. Donald Trump knows the game. He and Dana White, they were enemies. He just knows the score. He knows it's just a game. It's all bullshit. These guys are criminals.
Kind of goes against the grain of everybody saying he holds grudges.
Yeah, he's the exact opposite of a guy who holds grudges, right? One of his superpowers is he is so incredibly transactional that if you like him today, he likes you today. If you don't like him tomorrow, he doesn't like you tomorrow. And
so incredibly transactional. That's what you want in a president. He's so incredibly transactional that if you give him money and kiss his ass, he likes you. And if you don't, he hates you. So sorry, Rosie O'Donnell.
As a normal human being, Trump is just a unique guy. He's able to just push through all of that stuff. And it gives him, I think, real power when it comes to politics. Like, people are constantly doing things to you that you don't like. If you can kind of look past that and move past it, you wind up making longer-term allies.
Headstrong, boy. Headstrong. Yeah, your daughter just graduated 3.97 GPA. I mean, shit. I graduated from a very fancy university with a 4.0, and it was hard. I got jobs and stuff, but everything paid shit. I couldn't pay off anything. It was just like... It's a joke now. There's no high-paying jobs for people fresh out of college. That's over, man. Berkeley boys, yeah. Me and Me and Gutfeld, the Berkeley boys.
It's a bizarre thing. I mean, I'm not a huge Cohen fan. I don't think he's necessarily a good influence on anyone around him. But it is interesting. It's almost like they have this arc of like the documentary Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I don't know if you remember that with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, where they started off in love and then they spent a good chunk of the movie literally trying to murder each other, but then they fell back in love at the end. So I guess that's where we are.
Oh yeah, it's just like Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Who's Angelina Jolie in this? Is it Cohen or is it Trump? Which one's Angelina Jolie and which one is Brad Pitt? Like if Michael Cohen, if the story of Michael Cohen and Donald Trump is the story of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt in the famed movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, then who do you think is Angelina? Is it Donald? Is Donald Angelina? I think they think Donald.
She's got, you can't be a 10 without great tits.
Remember when Donald Trump said that? You can't be a 10 if you don't have great tits. God, what a great president. He really brings an air of respect and dignity to the office.
I always look at Trump, Sean, as like a guy who runs on energy. And so a grudge uses up energy. It's unusable energy for him to. It's like it just. So he doesn't like. He conserves energy for things that go forward, not backward, in a way.
He can only have one grudge at a time, I think. But to me, this highlights what I believe we all would say is the most distinctive trait of Trump, and it's his graciousness and his sense of forgiveness. Obviously. But like to Stu's point, I feel like this really is the Rosetta Stone for understanding Trump.
This is the Rosetta Stone.
He's going to say you're a fat who can't even afford pants. Right. And if in the next sentence you say he's awesome, he's like, wow, what a guy. Number one.
Yeah, that's exactly how, unfortunately, every single dictator around the world also understands that about Donald Trump. Everybody knows this. Kim Jong-un knows it. Xi Jinping knows it. Vladimir Putin knows it. Everybody knows this about Donald Trump. If you kiss his ass and you beg him for favors and you give him little treats and little gifts, guess what? You curry favor, and he's all of a sudden,
He's a great guy. I love him. He's so wonderful. He's wrote me a beautiful letter. It's a beautiful, beautiful letter, Kim Jong-un. It was so nice. I had to keep it. It was so great. I had it framed on the wall of Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago.
This is, everybody knows that. I'm glad that they're saying it on Fox News, because now they are saying what we've already known, what every evil dictator all around the world already knows about Donald Trump.
This is why I believe, Kat, there will be a Trump-Rosie reconciliation on this show. Oh, I'm working on it behind the scenes.
I think he would do it.
Yeah.
I'm certain he would do it. I don't know that she would do it because she'd be giving up a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he would do it. Yeah, of course he would. Oh, my God. This is like anybody can get a meeting with Hitler. You realize people who hated Hitler met with him and tried to appease him and figure out a way to work with Hitler. Everybody did. That's why everybody went to Mar-a-Lago when Donald Trump won in 2024. Everybody went and tried to kiss a little ass, kiss the ring, see if they can work with him, see if we can try to move forward without, concentration camps and murder. But no, we have to have concentration camps and murder and war. We have to do that. Nazis live on that shit. That's why there's a war in Iran and concentration camps all over America, people being shot in the streets, citizens and otherwise. Just the way it goes. Welcome to America, Donald Trump. Everybody knows who he is. And now Michael Cohen knew who he was. He knew.
If Natalie Harp went to law school, she could have written the Supreme Court opinion today about Donald Trump's attempt to seize control of voting by mail in the United States. It's one of those opinions issued on the court's so-called emergency docket, which means the case was not fully argued to the Supreme Court, but all of the Republican appointees to the Supreme Court decided that the case was so urgent that it needed to be ruled on immediately, with none of them willing to actually sign this thing today, which leaves it very likely to have been written by Chief Justice John Roberts, whose first sentence could only be written by a Natalie Harp type Trump groupie, someone who believes in the Trump fairy tale of a Never Never Land where Donald Trump was never, ever, ever indicted and charged with conspiracy against the United States of America for trying to illegally overturn the 2020 presidential election. Donald Trump is the biggest and most famous election criminal in American history, the only president of the United States in history to call the Secretary of State of Georgia and ask him to commit an election crime.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is...
Sounds legit. Sounds legit, right? Donald Trump's just... sounds like it's on the up and up to me, this conversation.
one more that we have.
The Supreme Court and Natalie Harp are just totally cool with that. The Republican Supreme Court. What you just heard is one of the crimes that Donald Trump was charged with in both a federal indictment and a criminal indictment for violating Georgia state law.
Because they hate republics. They hate the republic. They hate the will of the people being expressed in any way. This is why the Congress has completely handed over all the power to the party, and the party is led by Donald Trump. No one represents the people anymore. The only time the people even get somewhat of a shake in this world is when they can go to the voters, but when they can actually vote. And now, well, that's gone too. So the people, because the Congress no longer responds to the people, and because they get to choose who votes for them now, because of gerrymandering is now totally legal now, apparently, and now they get to pick. They get to pick who gets to vote for them. Instead of the voters getting to pick who represents them, that's where we're at. They hate the will of the people. It's why the Senate exists, is to filter the will of the people through the elites. But listen, man, it's a disgusting display of tyranny, and any kind of shred of democracy we had left in this country is, well, it's dwindling quickly.
And so it took Natalie Harp like delusion for the Supreme Court opinion today to begin with this first sentence. The president recently issued an executive order regarding election integrity. No, he did not. Donald Trump issued an executive order attempting to corrupt elections.
Yes.
Donald Trump issued an executive order trying to prevent me from voting by mail and for preventing 30% of Americans who vote by mail, at least the ones who vote Democratic. Donald Trump issued an executive order creating a list of voters who would be allowed to vote by mail, a federal list of voters who would be allowed to vote by mail, created by the president, created by the Department of Homeland Security, which, according to the Supreme Court, is the president. Donald Trump is personally in control of everything the federal government does.
The president gets to decide who gets to vote by mail. Isn't that fun? It's almost like, what do you call that when they totally control everything? What do you call that when you have a dictatorship that's like, it's more than just authoritarianism? Totalitarianism. Oh man, that's the word of the day. The word of the day, kids, is totalitarianism. Let's look it up really quick. What's the definition of totalitarianism? We're gonna get it? What's the definition of totalitarianism? God damn it, Google. Here we go. Totalitarianism is a form of government where the state holds absolute power and tries to control every part of public and private life. There you go.
Of dissent. Unlike
Suppression
authoritarianism,
of
which
dissent.
seeks obedience, totalitarian regimes try to reshape society and beliefs, as seen in historical examples like Mussolini's Italy, Nazi Germany, and the Soviet Union.
Yeah, so they don't just want full authority, they want to shape the culture as it is. The government gets much further by trying to reshape society, culture, and individual beliefs to match a strict ruling ideology. That's how it works. It's not just authoritarianism where, hey, I'm in charge and you need to be obedient to me. That's something we already have. The government wants strict political obedience, but people might still keep some personal freedom in their private lives or social traditions. That's over, honey. No, we're totally vibing with the totalitarianism thing now. Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler, Soviet Union under... Wait a second. Adolf Hitler was fascist and Joseph Stalin was sort of a communist. Weren't they opposites? Yeah, you got to be careful about this happening from anywhere. People get ambitious. They get crazy. It can happen from anywhere. Could it happen under capitalism? Absolutely. Nazism was all about corporatism. Could it happen under communism? Absolutely. You got to be careful about authoritarians. You got to be careful. You got to learn your history books and watch out. And guess what? Donald Trump is going, he's giving totalitarian, as the kids say these days. He's giving totalitarian.
As according to this Supreme Court. And only the people on that list created by Donald Trump would have Donald Trump's permission to vote by mail. No one else would have that permission to vote by mail. Donald Trump's executive order specifies the design of the envelopes for voting by mail. That is a direct intervention for the first time in history by the President of the United States in our voting process. Those envelopes are controlled by the states and the counties that produce those envelopes.
Not anymore.
And so far, the Republicans on the United States Supreme Court think that all of that's okay. The United States of America has never had the slightest problem with the integrity of voting by mail. And so there is no need for a presidential executive order about election integrity on voting by mail And there's also no conceivable constitutional basis for a presidential executive order about election integrity, so-called, because as the judges in the lower courts handling this case pointed out, the Constitution gives the President of the United States no role in elections anywhere.
The Constitution, Smonstitution. We've already talked about today the 4th, the 5th, the 14th Amendment. Today, completely gone, completely ignored. I mean, there's even talk of violations of the 3rd Amendment, which, you don't hear very often. Mostly it's about soldiers being, forcing people to quarter soldiers during times of peace and that type of stuff. And usually we don't talk about it. But now we're talking about it because the federal government is forcing private businesses to put up ICE agents when they do these raids. 3rd Amendment, when was the last time you heard that one? Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, we don't have the 1st Amendment. We don't have the 2nd Amendment. We don't have the 3rd, 4th, 5th Amendment. It's gone, buddy. It's over. It's over. The erosion of your rights will eventually get you to wake up and you'll be like, where'd they all go? Shit like this right here. It's the little things. It doesn't come as an avalanche. It comes as a trickle. You think Hitler woke up in 1945 and everything just happened? No. It happened all through the 30s, the rise to power. Everything he had to get there little by little. And before they knew it, ding dang do. Ding dang do. We got death camps? I thought we were just deporting people. That's literally what the plan was deporting people. Deportation centers is what they called them. Does that sound familiar?
Every word that follows that completely false first sentence of the Supreme Court decision is as willfully naive and childish as that first sentence. The Republicans on the Supreme Court say that it was just too soon for states to object to Donald Trump ordering the Postal Service to come up with rules for mail-in ballots because when the lawsuit was filed, the Postal Service had not yet come up with that rule. The Supreme Court says if Donald Trump convinces the Postal Service to issue an illegal rule, only then can the states sue Donald Trump and begin to object to that. The Republicans on the Supreme Court wrote, quote, federal courts review final rules, not proposed rules. If the Postal Service's final rule harms the states, they may challenge that rule. Now, Supreme Court opinions are written in advance of their publication, sometimes long before their publication, but this thing was supposed to be an emergency. This thing was supposed to be very present tense stuff, very up to the minute stuff. And so the Supreme Court opinion dated today says, quote, if the Postal Service's final rule harms the states, they may challenge that rule. The Postal Service issued their final rule on Friday. And this emergency Supreme Court opinion today doesn't even know that. That's the kind of fantasy land John Roberts is living in.
So we'll all have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if 30% of the people who vote via mail just are disenfranchised. We'll just have to wait and see. Thanks, Supreme Court. I'm glad you're looking out for us.
And the Postal Service rule issued on Friday says that the Postal Service will not deliver my mail-in ballot if they don't like the envelope that I use. The long-held motto of the post office, which was engraved over the entrance of New York City's Farley Post Office, the largest one in the United States, is neither snow nor rain nor heat nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds. Delivery of the mail has always been a sacred federal duty. And
it was, man. I remember the Pony Express talking about how sacred the United States Postal Service was. I remember in 2020 when Donald Trump was saying he wanted to close all the Postal Service offices. I freaked out, man. I had a full passport and I knew that I couldn't travel with it anymore. So I went immediately to the post office. I remember, man, in 2020, I freaked out. Donald Trump said, if I win, I'm closing down the post offices. Then how will we get passports? How will we, anyway, have you ever read the book Crying of Lot 49? It's kind of about the Postal Service. You ever read it by Thomas Pynchon? Anyway, that's a tangent. You should read it. It's short. It's good. You like it.
Interference with delivery of the mail is a federal crime. The three justices appointed by Democratic presidents, of course, dissented. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote, quote, the order thus requires a fundamental overhaul of the state's existing mail-in ballot systems, changing from a state-administered process to one in which the federal government controls who gets a ballot and whose vote counts. John Roberts will get his mail-in ballot. Clarence Thomas will get his mail-in ballot. Donald Trump will get his mail-in ballot, and he'll use it. Their ballots will be delivered. But what about mine?
Not yours. No, he gets to pick and choose who gets to vote via mail. Donald Trump gets to decide that. He'll have a list. That's a great thing about Nazis, too. They always make lists of people. They start putting people on lists, man. It's over, man. Game over, man. As soon as you're on those lists, I'm on a lot of lists. I'm on all these lists. They've been calling me a terrorist my whole life. So, I'm on a lot of lists. But, Now I'm definitely not going to be allowed to vote via mail. I know they're not going to let me. I've been voting by mail for years. Years. Why do I want to wait in line? It's my right to vote. It's not a privilege. It's a right. And they are eroding that right. I should be able to vote in my underwear if I want to, because it's my right to vote. In the Constitution, that pesky thing keeps coming up. But the thing is, they hate the Constitution. They hate the will of the people being expressed, so they will try to suppress the vote. They've been trying to do this for years, especially the Republicans. They've been trying to suppress voters. I mean, Democrats a little bit, but the Republicans for sure. And now that the Republicans have gone full on MAGA, gone full on Nazi, man, that's their whole thing. They're right out there in the open now. It's not like the old secret Nazis that used to be within the Republican Party. They festered into a giant wound, like Thomas Paine, the tiny scratch on the old oak, and as it grows, and tiny scratch on the sapling, and as it grows into the old oak, it's a giant wound. That was the Nazi Party and the Republicans, and now we just have Nazis. There's no such thing as a Republican anymore. It's just the Nazi Party, the MAGA Party. Even if you don't pray to Donald Trump and love him, they call you a rhino now. A rhino used to be someone who liked the economic policies of the Republicans, but not the identity politics of the Republicans. That used to be a rhino. Now you're a rhino if you aren't cultishly adherent to the words of the one true God, Donald Trump.
What about yours? The fight against Donald Trump's voter suppression executive order will continue in court now that the rule the Postal Service issued on Friday is final. The Supreme Court will not be able to say it is still too soon to fight that rule in court. And so it will be fought in court. And tonight, the governor of the state with the largest number of mail-in ballots in this country said, quote, wow, the Supreme Court just let the Trump administration move ahead for now with its plan to disenfranchise voters across the country. California will be suing again to block these Orwellian rules from being implemented. So
What's a George Orwell? Ding dang do. I don't even know what George Orwell is. This is the problem. No one has read George Orwell. He says Orwellian Gavin Newsom because he's, read a couple books. But these guys like these maggers in my chat, they've never read George Orwell. They don't know stuff. I got people in my chat going right now going, they were voting, illegals were voting. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. You're an idiot. There's no it's not based in reality. Facts don't care about your feelings, honey pie. All you maggers are running on vibes. That's all Donald Trump has offered you. He's offered you no returns. You are poorer than you were 2 years ago. There's no way around that. People are dying overseas. You said you were against that. The military-industrial complex is more powerful than ever. You said you didn't want that. Your grocery prices are more expensive. You said you wanted them to be cheaper. Your gas prices are more expensive. You said you wanted them to be cheaper. You said you wanted to have more money. You said you wanted cheaper housing, but in fact, housing is more expensive and inflation is up, so you've actually taken a pay cut. But you'll love Donald Trump because the vibes, and you'll believe anything he says. You'll believe these weird-ass, completely fabricated narratives about illegal immigrants voting with mail-in ballots. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Very same set of facts might be back in front of the Supreme Court soon. And it will be another case for the realists on the Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Sonia Sotomayor, and Elena Kagan, versus the Natalie Harps of the Supreme Court, the believers that Donald Trump can do no wrong even after they have seen the wrong, even after they have heard him do the wrong in that phone call to the Georgia Secretary of State. Nothing said by anyone in the Iranian regime during Donald Trump's war with Iran has angered Donald Trump and his White House staff as much as something Senator John Ossoff said.
Oh, look, see, this is what I mean. This is how ignorant they are. Mail-in ballots get sent to everyone absentee to apply for it. That's not true at all. That's not even true. That's not even sort of true. That's not even kind of true. You have to register to vote. Where are you from? This harsh take, revenge. You don't know anything. This is what's so sad, is that you're so ignorant, you're so foolish, you're so easily duped, you're so gullible that you'll lick the boots of anybody that comes along. You're just a mark that's ripe for the con man. And Donald Trump, who somehow is the most successful con man of all time. Even according to his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, the most successful con man of all time. And you just are ripe for it. You're just a hayseed who blew into New York City and you got duped by a guy selling fake Rolexes in Times Square. Instead of those, that was how it was in the old days. You used to have to go to New York to get duped by people like Donald Trump. Now, those guys, they come to your door, knock on your door. Hey, you want to buy some shoes? You want to buy some watches? You want to buy some Melania coin? And you fall for it. You fall for it. You fall for a guy who literally has a pump and dump NFT program, what do you call it, project, and pump and dump shit coin like Melania coin, endorsed by the First Lady, the most important financial tool for America's future prosperity, and his shit coin, the Trump coin. You believe him. The same guy who's selling people pump and dump scam shit coins. You believe him. And then he says something about illegal immigrants, and man, that just gets your nipples hard. I know, because you just hated them anyway, and that's how he gets you. Or he says something about trans people, and it gets your nipples hard because I know you hated them. So he's able to do that. Hitler did the same thing. You pick a demographic out of a hat that people tend to hate already, and you use them as a scapegoat, and then you get these morons to believe anything that you want. That's what Hitler did. That's what Donald Trump is doing. That's what every despot does. Everyone.
About Donald and Natalie.
While the sailors on the Lincoln fight his war, while he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings. He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
The White House attack dogs came after Jon Ossoff viciously for that reference to Natalie. And that White House reaction created even more attention to what Maureen Dowd's Sunday column in the New York Times calls Natalie's magnificent obsession. It was reporting by Maggie Haberman that revealed Natalie Harp is the perverse racist supplier of one of Donald Trump's social media posts.
The perverse racist supplier. I mean, she is a perverse racist human. This Natalie Harp thing just keeps getting bigger. I was talking about Natalie Harp over a year ago. Now all these Johnny-come-latelys want to talk about Natalie Harp.
Being President Obama and Michelle Obama as animals. It is one of the few Trump social media posts.
Oh, I was just talking about that. Yeah, everyone wants to say how horrible it is it's really gutter politics to say anything about Usha Vance or Natalie Harp, but Natalie Harp and Donald Trump posted Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, their heads superimposed on the bodies of baboons. I mean, doesn't get much more gutter politicking than that.
It was judged too evil and sick and racist and deeply perverse for even Donald Trump to post, and so it was taken down. That racist post, made possible by racist Natalie Harp, takes its place in the rare collection of Trump social media poison that even Donald Trump could not defend. Natalie Harp's social media post.
Remember, they removed it. It was a rare thing. They removed it. I couldn't believe it. They did that. I mean, shocking that they took it down on the president's Truth Social, posting these racist memes about Barack and Michelle Obama. I mean, people forget that that's how Donald Trump how he became into politics, how he sharpened his teeth in politics, how he made the transition was saying racist things about Barack Obama. That's how he got into politics. That's it.
About the Obamas was so dark and deranged that Donald Trump took it down, but kept the racist who posted it closer to him than anyone else in the White House, including his wife, who made what can properly be now described as a surprise appearance at the White House. She is the first Lady in history for whom presence at the White House is a surprise. She had not been seen publicly by anyone, anywhere, in 31 days. When she presented herself on Thursday at the height of the Natalie Harp scandal and spoke these inane words.
Good afternoon. I heard you missed me.
I heard you miss me. I heard you miss me. I never been on the plane. I don't know who Jeffrey Epstein is. I don't know who he is. I was never on the menu, and I never been on the plane.
Literally wrote the book, actually the books about White House chiefs of staff, and is an authority on White House organization and the operations of White House personnel. This weekend, he told Alex Witt this about Natalie Harp.
It's an extraordinary relationship, unique I think, in this White House. Natalie Harp is clearly a troubled young woman with a need to idolize Donald Trump. But the real danger here is Trump's fixation on her. In a normal White House, presidents have a so-called staff secretary who tees up reliable information on every side of an issue so that a president can make decisions. But in this case, proximity is power. And so Trump is getting his information from someone who wants to please, only tells him what he wants to hear. And so he's getting his information from, in effect, from a kind of fact-free fangirl. And that's nobody's idea of a staff secretary in a healthy White House.
It is an unhealthy White House. It is a dark and deranged White House. And the dark and deranged section of the United States Supreme Court, which might as well be led by Chief Justice Natalie Harp, actually pretends to believe.
Chief Justice Natalie Harp. Perfect. I love it. That's who's in charge. Natalie Harp. She's the one. I mean, after all, like every little Hitler's got someone, Hitler had Ava Braun, he's got to have his little muse, doesn't he? They all got to have their little muse. Even like Amon Goth, he had his Jewish sex slave, his little muse. These guys always have to. Even Rudy Hess, he had a Jewish sex slave when he ran Auschwitz. I mean, these guys always do. These Nazis always have their little weird concubines that are really fucking into them. I mean, this is what. Did you think Pammy Jo Bondi? You think that she's any different? She was the same. She just outwore her welcome, man. She just wasn't useful anymore, so he fired her. Caroline Leavitt, maybe she just found a spine and just was pissed that she didn't get taken onto the secret plane. She was left on the target plane. She was left on the plane that was going to get bombed. But Natalie Harp, she got to go on the plane that wasn't going to get bombed. I'd be pretty bummed if I used to be the hot blonde. What's with this Natalie Harp? I thought you loved me, Donnie. I mean, it's hard to juggle all those blondes. It really is. It's hard to juggle all those blondes in defense of Donald Trump. It's hard to juggle blondes.
That Donald Trump spends his day working on, of all things, election integrity.
Election integrity. Yeah, that's what it is. It's election integrity, everybody. Donald Trump's really into it. He loves election integrity. That's why he called that Georgia governor and told him, I need to find more votes. We just need to find more votes.
The trade
just
war between
find them.
the U.S. and Canada.
That's all we need. We need to find all the votes. That's all we got to do. All right, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with all my blonde bitches.
Shit, bro. It's over, man. It game over, man. It's over. Sorry, everybody. Like and subscribe. My name's Scott Jack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. And this is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Live. It's the Morning Sky Show. Thanks, everybody. Democrats believe anything but election integrity. Sweet Havoc, do you crawl under a rock every night? Is that what you do? And you slither out every morning? Put MAGA in historically Confederate states and move everyone else who is willing to leave out and let them destroy themselves. I mean, we're going to get to that point. I mean, I was just joking, but we could seriously get to the point where California has to have its own postal service and Texas will have its own postal service. That's what we're going towards, you realize. That the United States government doesn't have the resources and won't have the buy-in of the American people because we have completely lost all of our faith in the institutions of the... I mean, do you trust the FBI? I've never trusted the FBI, but at least I used to think the FBI would catch kidnappers, but they didn't even catch Savannah Guthrie's mom's, Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper. They used to catch, serial killers and interstate criminals. They don't even do that shit anymore. FBI is just Donald Trump's personal, Epstein file burning company. The CIA, do you trust them? Do you trust the Supreme Court? What institution do you trust in the United States today? Are there any left? And if you don't trust any of the institutions of the United States of America, what's the point of the United States of America? You might as well just be the Republic of Texas, the Republic of New Mexico, the Republic of California. Why bother having the United States of America? What's the point? That's where we're going. You really think people only send mail in state? Do you ever think about what you say before you say it? Darren, you're an idiot. Do you think people only send mail in country? Are you stupid? countries cooperate with one another for the postal service. So if I send a letter to someone in Germany, then it goes through multiple stations, through multiple offices, and they cooperate. We'd have to have something like that too. I know you probably are in one of those countries or cities or states where they don't read. Like Mississippi just won't get mail service. That's how it'll be. Mississippi just won't get mail because they can't afford it. Unless you're rich and you can afford FedEx or something like that, or you can afford UPS, then maybe you'll get your mail. That's what Donald Trump wants. He wants to get rid of the United States Postal Service. He said it out loud in 2020. He doesn't want it to exist. And so, since he wants to erode that institution, the states will just have to pick up the slack by themselves. Because if the, if the trash collecting company or your city, the city that collects your trash needs to send you correspondence, they'll have to send it themselves or they'll have to hire somebody. My guess is states with money will have a service that they build themselves from the ground up, or they'll inherit the postal service. They'll just use the existing infrastructure. And states that don't have money just won't, just like it was before. That's what it was before the postal service was all around. They still had postal service. They just didn't have the U.S. Postal Service. That's why the Pony Express and all that shit. You guys don't know about all this? That's why we ran trains across America and stuff. That's why we have the interstate highway system, was for all of this stuff. A ding-dang-do.
Which could mean higher prices for Americans. CTV News reports Canada will announce retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. today. Prime Minister Carney had previously pledged dollar-for-dollar retaliation after the U.S. imposed 50% tariffs on certain Canadian goods. But yesterday, President Trump went a step further. He's now threatening to also impose 50% tariffs on Canadian cars, trucks, and steel.
There are tens of thousands of jobs in Canada that are threatened by these actions. So it's a difficult moment for Canadians.
Trump says
trade war with Canada. That's what we all wanted. That's what you wanted, right, Maggers? Trade war with Canada. Great. So your cost of your house is about to go up. I'm glad I just bought a house, so the cost of my house just went through the roof because they can't build new houses anymore because you can't get the raw materials to build houses because all the prices just doubled due to the trade war, the rekindled trade war with Canada. Great work. Great work, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Canada has been ripping off the United States for years. Trade talks collapsed over the weekend.
They came in with a bunch of unreasonable last-minute demands. I frankly thought we had a deal. I think that we should have a deal, but I think that we need to send a message loud and clear.
President Trump has claimed the U.S.
We just sent a message. My papaw would not agree. My papaw would not agree with this deal with Canada.
Does not need Canada, but nearly 100% of U.S. natural gas imports.
Oh, we don't need them, though. 99% of natural gas comes from Canada. We don't need those bastards.
Come from Canada, along with more than half of our imported.
What? I thought that we were net exporters of crude oil. What in the heck? What's the deal? What's the deal? Who are these people selling us crude oil? We don't need these people. There's no such thing as Palestine.
Crude oil. And Trump last night acknowledged the U.S. relies on Canada for aluminum.
We don't have it. We get it all from Canada for the most part, and we need it badly.
Tariffs are also
Yeah, we get a lot of shit from Canada, honey pie. I guess people are really stupid these days. I think we get like 4% of our beef.
Is the center of a political fight over the cost of beef. Ground beef prices are up 24% since President Trump took office, now averaging $6.89 per pound.
Well, again, if you're eating ground beef in America in 2026, you're an imbecile. You're stupid. You should die. You should not be surprised when you die of a curable disease. You're literally eating the flesh of diseased dead animals. If you are eating ground beef in America in 2026, you're a fool.
In response, the administration is temporarily suspending some beef import tariffs to help lower prices. But some Republican lawmakers and ranchers are pushing back, saying the move could undercut cattle producers.
I have extraordinary respect for the president. So I'm very, very disappointed.
I mean, J.D. Vance is still crying because Trump stole his boyfriend. That's true. Yeah, exactly. The chud incel. I don't know that. I don't know. I think you're talking about J.D. Vance. He's kind of a chud incel.
For Nebraska cattlemen and ranchers.
As for those new Canadian tariffs on U.S. goods, officials are expected to release details today. They're expected to take effect September 8th.
Trade war with Canada.
Morning, Target is
That's what you guys wanted. Great. I heard that. That's what you voted for, right? Trade war with Canada, right? I voted for this. If you voted for a trade war with Canada, man, you just hate America. You just hate all of us, huh? Wow. But thank you. I think it's great. You know, gas prices should go up. Let's pop them up. I just moved to a walkable community. I barely use my car. House prices should go up. Let's crank this shit to 11, baby. My house just doubled in price, man. I just got instant equity. Awesome. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Apologizing and removing a children's Halloween costume after it was widely criticized as racist. The images of the costume are being compared.
This is racist. Target just can't catch a break, man. I mean, African Americans are already boycotting Target, so it's kind of funny that it is. I don't know. Is it racist? It looks kind of. Do you think this is That's the question of the day. Is this racist? Let me know in the chat.
Compared to racist caricatures evoking blackface. Target now acknowledges the costume should have never been for sale, saying, as a company, we got this wrong and we are deeply sorry.
Man, Target, I don't think that they were going, hey, let's do a racism, but it's like, Target, can't you be a little careful, Target? Don't you realize? Target lost billions of dollars last year because they were turning in people for ICE, and they were doing all these anti-African American things, like not allowing blacks to be in their C-suite and be managers and stuff. There was a whole thing. It's a long story, and don't have time to get into all of it. But there was a boycott last year, and they lost billions of dollars. And now this year, they're like, let's do a good old-fashioned racism.
This is especially hurtful for our black guests, team members, and partners. Removing the costume is an important first step, and we are looking closely at how this happened.
We're cutting up cars today.
It comes 1 year after the company's controversial move to roll back its diversity, equity, and inclusion policies.
Yeah, remember?
Which sparked protests and boycotts by shoppers.
I'm glad they're mentioning that. Yes, they lost billions.
To hold larger corporations accountable.
One Minneapolis area business leader claims this new costume controversy is an indirect result of Target's DEI decision last year, saying, you rolled back diversity, so who's in the room now to say, hey, this is wrong?
Ooh, good point. I mean, no one's in the room there to say, hey, do you think that this costume's a little racist? No one's there because they're all whiteys now. It's all white faces. We don't want that DEI shit, man. That means no coloreds. So we're not going to have any of those guys in the room to let the whites know that, hey, this looks a little, are you sure we want to put this on the shelf? I mean, that's all it would take. It's like one black guy in the room in management helping making those decisions. That's all it would take. A little DEI, if you will.
And commenter on social media saying, the amount of people this costume had to go through to get approved says a lot.
Yeah.
What year is it?
Target declined to comment on who designed and approved the product, only saying that it's looking at what needs to change.
In American, what needs to change over at the Target Corporation? What do you think? What do you think needs to change over at the Target Corporation, everybody?
History. I don't know that you could ever find someone that is more pro-rancher, pro-farmer, pro-rural America than this president. And I think that's the important context in the middle of this discussion.
That was Brooke Rollins. She is the agriculture.
Brooke Rollins, the ag sec. Do you ever get the idea Trump tells the media what he wants you to hear get reported? Yeah, he's playing 5D chess, man. He's a mastermind. Trump's a mastermind. We already know that's not the case because Steve Bannon already revealed and Stephen Chung have both revealed what their actual strategy is, which is flooding the zone with shit. Their words, not mine. Flood the zone with shit. Keep the zone always flooded with garbage so that you can never get a bead on Donald Trump. By the time you're upset about the fact that his sons are war profiteering with billions of dollars in government contracts for drones and that we've just entered another forever war in order to enrich his own family, by the time you figure that out, there's already another thing to be pissed off about because he's importing diseased animal flesh from Brazil all of a sudden, or he's got a trade war with China. China, and there's always something. So no, he's not just telling you what you want to hear. He's flooding the zone with shit. They're not hiding it. They're all out in the open. Everything about Donald Trump's out in the open. It's just that idiots don't want to see it, and the people who do see it don't want to do anything about it, or they're unable to.
Agriculture Secretary earlier today defending President Trump's plan to suspend tariffs on beef imports, a move the president says is going to reduce costs for consumers. But lawmakers, Republican lawmakers to be specific, say it does so at the expense of American farmers. Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer said she is disappointed. Quote, flooding the market with foreign beef hurts our livestock industry. Congresswoman Ashley Hinson, who is running for Senate in Iowa and is endorsed by the president, is also against the plan. She called it a bad idea. Joining us, cattle and soybean farmer and founder of the president of the National Black Farmers Association, Don Boyd Jr. So the American consumer
Love the hat, buddy. Love the hat.
is in a bit of a rock and a hard place here. The desire to support American farmers, obviously, like you, but also beef prices are incredibly high, and it's painful to go to the grocery store, economically painful and just untenable for a lot of American families.
Stop eating beef. What's the problem? I mean, every time I complain about coffee, all of you assholes are like, drink less coffee. I do drink less coffee, you sons of bitches. I only drink 25 grams of coffee beans a day now because it's too fucking expensive. I'm supposed to be drinking 34 grams of coffee a day, and you assholes, you pieces of shit, have created such an environment that I have to weigh every bean every morning like I'm like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and I think Goofy, and they slice that bean, and they all share the one bean because they're so poor. They gotta slice the bean, and they each get one slice to eat. That's me at my house with my coffee. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to become a Sky City Rebel. Please support the channel so I can start drinking a decent amount of coffee. It's not enough. It's a necessity, and now I've had to cut back on a necessity of life. Just breathe less air. But then again, beef, you can't eat less beef. You can't eat less beef. I mean, I think tofu is like 60 cents a pound right now. I mean,
Families. How do you balance those two things effectively?
Well, first of all, I believe that this is a raw deal by the president. Here's a president who...
Yeah, I mean, coffee was really messed up because the tariffs, first they tariffed them and then he excluded the tariff. But the problem was he tariffed the shit out of coffee out of Brazil. And that fucked up it wrecked everything globally. And so they kept warehousing and they, because of the tariffs, they warehoused some of that coffee. But because America wasn't buying it, they took those bags of beans and they sold them to China and other places. And those prices aren't coming down. And then he lifted the tariffs on just coffee, and it was too late because they already have deals with other places. That's not how growing works, right? This is 1 year in. You switch course like that. The business has already changed course as well. And now coffee prices in America and England and places like this are higher than ever because new markets have emerged for the same coffee growers in the same year that they had drought and other issues. I dove deep on why my coffee is so expensive. It's very messed up. My lovely Italian coffee is double. Yeah, everything's double, man. My shitty Trader Joe's had the cheapest coffee I could find. It went up 67% or something. I did the math a while back. I forget what it is, but it's way higher. Super duper higher. It went from like $4.35 to $7.99 or something. Like it's almost double. It's almost double, bro.
Keep making the announcement that he loves farmers, he loves cattlemen, and then undermines us with 300,000 metric tons of foreign beef that we don't even know where it's coming from. There was just a recall.
It's mystery meat
from Argentina beef for I believe it was 30,000 metric tons from Florida and Texas. So it's bad beef that's coming into the United States. The president hasn't told anybody where the beef is coming from. There's no guarantee that the American people are going to see any savings in the local grocery stores. This is more about helping meat packers.
Don't worry. It helps America, just like the ballroom. Who's going to pay for the ballroom? Don't worry about it. We don't need to tell you who's paying for the ballroom. You are. You're paying for it, idiot.
In my opinion. So he put the American farmers last. We're losing 77 farmers and cattlemen every single day in the United States, every day. And this president hasn't done anything to help us there. We have 300 farm foreclosures, pending farm foreclosures in the United States, and I've called on your show, Katie, for a complete farm moratorium. The administration haven't even discussed it. So here you have a president who continues to say he loves farmers, he loves the American people, this is what they want. It's not what we want, I can tell you that. We have the highest input cost in history due to this president's policies and his war with Iran.
All right, so just because I don't normally respond to all caps, but Doomy McDoom writes, why did the Democrats release the OC vote when they had that? Why don't they get them like that? Everybody did care back then, asshole. We were all talking about the Epstein files during the Biden administration, and there were three things going on. Number one, Ghislaine Maxwell had not been convicted yet. There was active prosecution, which made it a little bit a little more difficult to get some of the files out because of what was going on. There was active investigation, active prosecution. You could call that an excuse, but it's a good excuse. Number two, the same people who give the money to Donald Trump gave money to your friend Joe Biden. It's the same people in charge. The people who are in the Epstein files give money to Donald Trump and Joe Biden. That's who's in charge. They give money to both sides. So there's a real reason why Biden wouldn't want to release them. There's no reason for him to do it. He doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to throw all of his friends under the bus. It's not that he's in there. He just doesn't want to do it. There's no value to him. It poses no positive for Joe Biden or the Department of Justice under Joe Biden to release the Epstein files. It doesn't help them at all. It doesn't help them because who would elect Donald Trump after January 6th? I mean, why bother with the Epstein files? Well, there's no need. No one in their right mind would vote for Donald Trump after January 6th. Only an imbecile would vote for Donald Trump after January 6th. So there's no reason to release the Epstein files. And there's only negative that could happen. There's only downside to release them. Then the third reason is that no one was pushing Joe Biden to release them. There was no congressional move to do so. The timing was just a little off. Like there was still people were talking about it, but because of the active investigation, because of who was in charge, because of all these things, there was no real big push like in politics to release them. And he did release the parts that they thought were going to be damning, like, do you think it was just coincidence that all of the flight logs that had Donald Trump's name on them were released? I mean, only an idiot would vote for Donald Trump after the flight logs were released and he was on the flights with Jeffrey Epstein during the times when he was committing those crimes, and it placed Donald Trump in the cities and places during the times when people who accused Donald Trump of actual rape, it puts him at the scene of the crime. He thought that anybody who sees this, of course. So he did release some of it. It wasn't a coincidence. They did it through the press. But I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's literally, hey, release the dirt about Donald Trump. We don't have to bring everybody down, do we? There you go. Meanwhile, the MAGers were going off about Jeffrey Epstein, that it has to be released. That was like a big thing, that if Donald Trump gets elected, then they'll definitely release them, even though Donald Trump said maybe. So there you go. There's your explanation. Are you happy now? You happy? I'm sure you were waiting for an explanation. So now there's your explanation. Why? Also, I'll give a little bonus one for you. Joe Biden's a piece of shit who was Joe Biden was in politics for 50 years. He was not a good man. He should never have been president. He has a lot of friends with a lot of skeletons in their closet. Joe Biden has taken lots of dirty money. Joe Biden has done lots of dirty things in politics. He's a dirty politician who became president. And you think that he's somehow, why didn't he release the Epstein files? Well, that's enough of an excuse right there. He's a dirty politician with lots of dirty friends. That's it. Now the question is on to you. Why doesn't Donald Trump, even though he is now compelled to do so by law, why is he breaking the law every single day by not releasing them? I answered your question. Will you answer mine? Why isn't Donald Trump releasing the Epstein files even though he is compelled? He's literally breaking the law every day that they're not. Every day past last Christmas. Every day since last Christmas, Donald Trump is breaking the law. He's in violation of the law by not releasing the Epstein files. Why?
High diesel fuel prices, $5 and $6 a gallon, and we never got over the impact of the president's
holy
shit. So you have a ripple effect, in my opinion.
Holy shit! Hold on a second. I love this. Epstein got busted during Trump's. Okay, so Epstein 2009 and all the other stuff that was happening with Jeffrey Epstein. The thing that happened during Epstein was murdered during Donald Trump's first term. Did Donald Trump murder him? Is that what you're saying? Donald Trump murdered him? Is that what you're saying? Donald Trump snuck in and murdered him in the jail? I mean, I guess. I mean, you're the one positing that. That's an interesting theory. But the reason why the court cases in New York City started after the non-prosecution agreement in Florida protected Donald Trump and all of the other co-conspirators. After that happened, you had to do something else. And other victims began coming forward in places like New York, where there's no statute of limitations for these types of things. So all of a sudden, people are starting to talk about it in the press. And the press had to do their own investigations because no one would investigate. Everyone was talking about it and no one would investigate it. Not Donald Trump, not his DOJ. They were not going to help whatsoever. In fact, Todd Blanche was one of the guys who orchestrated the sweetheart deal for Jeffrey Epstein down in Florida. So what are you talking about? He busted him? Are you that stupid? Like, you must be like bottom of the barrel stupid if you think Donald Trump did anything to take down Jeffrey Epstein. You literally are retarded. Like, I don't like using that word, but like you belong in a special place. You shouldn't be allowed to talk to other people. You shouldn't be allowed on the internet. You shouldn't be allowed to like make financial decisions for yourself because you are not able to fend for yourself. You shouldn't be allowed to have a gas oven because you're that stupid. Like, I'm sorry, if you think Donald Trump was in charge of the investigation against Jeffrey Epstein in New York City, you're a very, very stupid person. The press made it so uncomfortable for prosecutors in New York that they eventually had to capture Jeffrey Epstein and put him on trial. It never happened, though, did it? He got killed before he was able to stand trial. Another funny little coinky dink. What a coinky dink. What a coinky dink. He got killed before the trial.
For the worst time in history for America's farmers, going out losing our farms every day, and the president makes another sour deal and punches the American farmers in the face. I never heard the Cattlemen Association make a statement that this is a bad deal. All of these things are happening right now.
Are you saying Virginia Giuffre? You don't even know her name. Play song rated Trump as a star witness at Epstein class in Florida and Maxwell case go the car for Regis. Oh my God, dude, you're too far gone, kid. You're too now it's Virginia Defrane. Wow, you've got all sorts of funny. You've got you don't even know her name, and you want me to go read things for you? Want to go read? You want to go do your reading list? You can't even spell her name.
Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed joins us now. How you doing, Abdul?
Man, I've been waiting for this. This is the debate of the century. Here we go. You ready?
I'm good, Jesse. I appreciate the opportunity for a good, wholesome conversation, and I just want to start where we agree. We both played football and lacrosse. We both love America. We both love freedom, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Absolutely.
Wow. They both played lacrosse. That's a white man's sport.
We'll see how much we agree on. I know I don't agree with you on this. You want to abolish ICE. Who's going to deport the criminal aliens from the country?
Well, you and I both know that long before we ever had ICE, we had INS. We were able to enforce our immigration policies without shooting people in the face and the back of the head. And we just celebrated our 250th anniversary. That was an anniversary of throwing away tyranny. Now, to bring that tyranny back under the guise of the U.S. government itself, that seems to me to be inconsistent with the freedom you and I both love.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a dodge, Abdul. They did the same thing as ICE back then, INS.
No, they did not. They did not do the same thing as... They did the same thing. No, they did not. That's not true.
You know how many illegal aliens are in the country now?
People in the face and the back of the head.
Do you know how many illegal aliens are in the country now?
To your point, Jesse, let me answer the question.
To your point, how many do we have?
Fewer when we had INS. To your answer,
exactly.
When we had INS, so
we now have
INS worked a lot better.
Abdul, listen, we had twice as many illegals now.
Yeah, INS did a lot better. Funny how that worked.
We had INS.
So your argument,
you have to have the manpower to do it.
If you want to do that correlation, we have ICE now, and we have far, far more undocumented people. So ICE is clearly not working. It's just shooting like American citizens in the face and the back of the head. So
well, illegals are shooting people in the face too.
Disagree.
Illegals are shooting people. This is so funny because this is the fact. ICE is only since 2004. ICE has only been around for about 20-something years. Fun fact: the bloodiest year of ICE was 2004 until 2025. 2025 is now the bloodiest year in the history of ICE. It used to be 2004. It was 2004 because in their first year, when they started doing their concentration camps, they didn't have enough doctors, they didn't have enough latrines, they didn't have enough services for the people that they were rounding up. Well, so a lot of people ended up dead in that first year, man. It was really rough. 2004, ICE, it was a bloody, bloody year. They really liked killing people in concentration camps that year under George W. Bush. And that stayed, but it got, better, I guess, quote unquote. Not really better, but I mean, they killed far fewer. For example, Barack Obama, executed only 52 people in 8 years. I mean, that's not so many. I shouldn't say execute. I mean, they died in custody under our watch. We took people and put them in concentration camps under Barack Obama, and only 52 died in 8 years. And now, in 2025, almost 50 died just in 1 year. It's a big difference.
Abdul, you got a guy in Michigan.
American citizens.
You got a guy. Let me just say something. Okay,
to get back to the conversation about the broader issues.
Okay.
When you cut me off, Jesse, and you said we're going to have a good conversation, so I'd like to do that. I just want to answer the point. When I travel the state, and I have traveled my state, more people are asking me about how they're going to afford their gas and groceries. They're not asking me about immigration.
Well,
now,
they also don't want to get molested. Abdul, you got a guy here from Southeast Asia, molested a kid. ICE just picked him up. You want that guy to stay in Michigan?
I'm glad that guy got picked up, but that's a different thing than saying that INS would not have picked him up. Jesse, you're too smart for this.
It's a bureaucratic game you're playing.
yeah, INS would have done just fine. ICE is bad. INS was armed with clipboards. They picked people up. They did all the same thing without shooting people.
And that's a dodge. You need guys to get these guys out of the country.
Therefore, ICE, we need ICE. I'm just saying, look, playing by your own rules. When we had fewer people doing things that
that's because Biden didn't blow open the border back then.
When we had that.
All right, that's because Biden didn't blow open the border back then.
Next question.
Biden did not blow open the border. That's just a myth. It's just a fun little myth that they like to push.
All right, that's a CBP question.
No, you guys let in a ton of people, and we got to get them out, and we'll take the guys out the way we need to take them out. Green New Deal. You back that up. Do you drive an electric car?
I drive a plug-in hybrid made right in the United States. The bigger question about cars, though, is why the president just started a trade war or escalated a trade war with Canada about to make all of our cars, especially the internal combustion engine cars, so much more expensive.
You want to get rid of the internal combustion engines.
What? The internal? What is Jesse Waters? Like, you get this guy on your show and you ask him about getting rid of the internal combustion engine. This was so sad. This is the level of discourse on the right. This is the level of discourse. My God. At least Kristen Welker, like we were talking about Kristen Welker yesterday on Meet the Press, and people were like, "Oh, she's buddy with these Nazis and stuff." And I guess that's true, but she has to be buddy with the Nazis in order to get them on her show, right? She has to be nice to Tom Homan off camera so she can be mean to him on camera. And I think that's a kind of a dangerous game a lot of people in the press play. I'm not defending it. But when she has people on, she asks questions that matter, and it's an interesting conversation. I was actually kind of excited about this. I didn't realize that Jesse Waters was going to do this piss poor of a job, to be honest.
No, I don't. Who told you that?
That's what the Green New Deal says.
To design internal combustion engines. No, that's
the Green New Deal says phase out fossil fuels.
Build renewable energy opportunities. Look, I'm not going to defend the Green New Deal. What I'm telling you, though, is that we could make a whole
You're
lot
on the
more
record as backing the Green New Deal, Abdul.
Look, I'm just telling you this. Are you opposed to the idea that we could reduce energy costs and create jobs in Michigan?
Absolutely, but I don't want windmills in Lake Michigan.
So you're absolutely opposed to that?
Yeah, I don't want to put windmills in Lake Michigan. Do you?
Windmills.
I don't think the people in Michigan want that. If you're running on that, that's not going to go over too well.
Pipeline. No. I mean, Jesse, look, we can have a conversation if you want to. If you want to keep cutting me off, we can keep doing that too. But you told me we're going to have a good conversation. I just want to talk about something. Right now, we have an oil pipeline in the Great Lakes. If that oil pipeline would have burst, the consequences.
Like, Jesse Waters is not coming off good on this. I mean, he is a clown, right? Totally. But I did think that he would at least have kind of the broadcasting chops to engage in a conversation. It's kind of sad because like Jesse Waters is always going to be just this one trick pony where he's like, oh! It's just I don't even know what to call this. Just shouting at. I mean, why would someone come on the Jesse Waters show if this is how they're going to be? He's not even asking questions. Let him finish his. He's not even asking decent questions, and the questions that he tries to answer, he's getting cut off.
Our Great Lakes would be disastrous. Now, you're telling me that you'd rather have a situation where that happened than a windmill? That really is so offensive to you?
No.
Those windmills are good.
I'm saying I don't want to get rid of fossil fuels, and that's what the Green New Deal does. Let's move on. You want to soak the rich. Rabdul, because this isn't a podcast. I got to sell ads in the breaks. You want to soak the rich. Let's listen to what you said about the taxes. Run it.
I also think we got to start taxing wealth for people who have over $100 million. I mean, at that point, like, what are you going to do with more money?
What are you going to do with more money? I mean, whatever I want.
I mean, Jesse, I don't know how much you make.
Look, not $1 billion.
I think I'd rather have. Well, yeah, look, so that's exactly it, right? The question ultimately is, do you want to drive on good roads, or would you rather have a billionaire make a second billion? That's what Mike Rogers wants. That's what Donald Trump wants. Apparently, that's what you want. I think the people in Michigan want something different. They want good roads and good schools.
So you're saying Beyonce, who just became a billionaire, she has to break you off something?
Beyonce, up against the wall. I don't care who you are. If you're making if you have more than $999,999,000.99, if you have more than that, up against the wall. What about Taylor Swift? Yep, up against the wall. Anybody? What about Abigail Disney? Up against the wall. What about Don? Up against the wall. Anyone with over $999,999,999. If you have more than all nines, up against the wall. Sorry, 1 penny. If you make $1 billion, if you're allowed to keep up to a penny, you have to be under $1 billion. Anyone over, up against the wall. That's it. It's that simple. It's that easy. We're going to take all your money and we're going to build nice roads. Piece of cake. There you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Very simple. Very simple.
And every year, she has to pay the politicians.
It's not me. It's the American public.
The politicians? The politicians, we're already paying the politicians, idiot. That's who's making all the money right now is the politicians. We want better roads. We want paved streets. We want healthcare for all. I don't think that's too much to ask. If someone's got billions of dollars and I have people dying in the streets of curable diseases, the math seems really easy here. There's someone dying of a curable disease right here. Yep, but there's no money. But this person has $1 billion. Yeah, but that's his money. Well, where did he get it? Well, he stole it from the poor. Okay, so we're going to take it back. It's that simple. It's that easy. You stole from the people.
You're the one that wants the money.
To be able to contribute back to the public schools that she went to. I think she'd be happy to invest in good roads in her community. I think she'd be happy to pay a little bit more so that everybody had a little bit more.
You're reaching a little deep into the pocket
defending billionaires from your channel, Jesse. That's a crazy thing. I thought you were for. I'm just saying, look, at the end of the day, I thought you were for the everyday man. Like, if you're for billionaires more than you're for every other person, well, you and I are just going to disagree.
No, I just think I have the right to the fruits of my own labor. That's America. It's not communist, what you're talking about.
No problem.
Let me ask you about socialized healthcare.
Billionaires don't make money. Let me just answer the question.
Sure.
No, let me go back to that.
Go ahead.
Billionaires don't make their money off of their labor. That, I think, is where you head off. Billionaires that make their money off their money. So if you have $1 billion, your billion makes another 100 million. That's not the fruits of your labor. That's just the fruits of your money making money. I think it's okay. Like, if we tax you at 7%, you still don't make a cool $30 million off your $1 billion. I think it's okay. It'll be okay.
Yeah, I just don't like the idea of politicians like you capping how much money people make in America. That's just me. We can have the voters in Michigan decide. You say you want socialized healthcare. Abdul, how much is that going to cost?
It's going to cost the average Michigander a whole lot less than they pay right now. But I'm just going to tell you.
No, but what's the price tag of the program?
Who voted to raise prescription drug prices 19 times, right? And so I'm just saying I want to bring your costs down.
Oh my God, are they going to talk about trans? Are they going to talk about trans seriously? Oh my God. Of course they're going to talk about trans people. Obviously, they got to be. Republicans cannot go a day without talking about trans people. They got to have something. Who's that Delaney guy? Lady, I don't know Delaney, the one that was on the Bud Light cans, I forget. Ever since that Delaney Bud Light commercial, people lost their shit, man. People just can't. Notice how all the MAGAs have default names auto-generated by YouTube? Yeah, you notice that? You notice that as soon as this started, all the MAGers ran away. Now we don't have all these MAGers here talking. Ain't that funny? Let's talk about trans people. It really is. It is funny, right? Like, I just don't think you should be able to cap what people make. Well, how about this? We'll have enough for everybody, and then you can have whatever you want. Once everybody is eating, then you could have extra. Once everybody has eaten, you can get seconds. That's it. Simple. This is basic shit. Once everybody eats, you can have seconds. Why are you saying I can't have seconds? I'm not saying you can't have seconds, but you're going to have to wait until everybody's had firsts.
Less for an everyday person who's out here who can't afford their healthcare and worried about losing their healthcare with their job.
Well, give me the total.
I mean, he's going to say, give me the total. I wonder what he's going to say. But just to put this in perspective, we spend $3 trillion a year for some of the worst healthcare in the world in America. But Mr. Bernie Sanders says that it's only going to cost American taxpayers $50 billion a year to have single-payer health care. I think he's full of shit, because in Israel, a much smaller country, they're spending about $50 billion a year. We're giving them money for their health care in Israel. Israel has the right for everyone to have health care, single-payer, $50 billion a year is what they're paying. Iran pays about $40 billion a year so that everybody has the constitutional right to go to the doctor. Iraq spends about $40 billion a year for every man, woman, and child to have the constitutional right for health care. America, we spend $3 trillion and we don't have a right to go. A lot of us are unemployed, uninsured. So it's very, very difficult to argue that how come they can do it for $50 billion and we're spending $3 trillion and we can't even a lot of people are dying of curable diseases. Bernie Sanders says they can get it done for $50 billion. I think that's a lie. Even if it were $300 billion, though, even if it were $1 trillion for single-payer health care, it would still be far cheaper for all of us than paying $3 trillion, because 1 is lower than 3. If we all spent $500 billion, I think that's like such an easy way to look at it, right? We could spend $500 billion and it would still be cheaper than the military, which takes about $1 trillion. We just gave, hundreds of billions of dollars to the most inefficient part of our government, which is Border Patrol, all the ICE stuff and all that. It's just very inefficient. It's in every country it's inefficient, though. It's nothing about INS. It's also just, this is the nature of borders and human beings moving. It's very inefficient. So we spend billions of dollars on that too. To say that we don't have the money for healthcare is ridiculous. How much is it going to cost? Far less is the answer. And I feel like they should just start throwing a number out there. And I think Bernie Sanders' numbers is just such bullshit. $50 billion. It's just a fucking lie. But if you said $100 billion or $300 billion or $500 billion, it would still be less than the $3 trillion we're currently spending. And I think that you could be honest with the American people. It's gonna be expensive, but everyone will have firsts. The rich will still have better healthcare than you. Don't worry. The rich will still have better healthcare than you, honey. But everyone will have healthcare. And the rich will have better healthcare. Just like everyone gets firsts and then the rich get seconds.
While you're out here trying to talk about the broader national budget, I'm a lot more interested in the everyday budgets that Michiganders are thinking about. And that's exactly the budget that Donald Trump and Mike Rogers are blowing up right now. Well, I just don't see why you're so on the side of the billionaires, Jesse, rather than on the side of everyday Michiganders.
No, because I don't want you guys to blow the country up. Do you know how much the federal budget is now?
No, neither do I. Here's exactly
the federal budget.
You guys want to, right? Pete Hegseth.
So answer the question. Do you know what the federal budget is?
To raise. No. I just want to talk about this. Look, you want to talk about budgets? I'm happy to do that. The guy who used to work on your channel, I think he was like the 6th host on the 5. He wanted to raise our military budget to $1.5 trillion, and you don't seem to be upset about that. What? So we can fight a war we don't know how to get out of? To raise our gas prices $5 a gallon? That doesn't make sense to me, Jesse. You want to talk about the things that we actually should spend on? To me,
I have a feeling, Abdul, you don't even know how much money the government spends every year.
This guy's running for governor of Michigan. Why is he doing pop quiz stuff about the federal government?
No.
Look, the question, Jesse, to me.
All right, so you don't know. Let me tell you what it is. It's $7 trillion a year. And your plan to take over the healthcare system is $4 trillion.
Here's the problem with it. So to exactly your point,
I mean,
you know what?
I'm not very good at math. I don't think you're very good at math either, but go ahead.
Clearly you don't. And you don't seem to care. But I don't think most Americans want to spend that much money on military escapades so that the folks stranded on the USS Abraham Lincoln can't even get a sausage for breakfast. I just think that we could do a lot better with our money, Jesse, and I think that's where you and I...
There you go. Spoken like a true Nazi. See, this is the classic tension. Darren Moore, this is the classic tension of humanity throughout the ages. We have a group of people that says the public is everybody and everything for the necessities of life, at least, belongs to everyone. The water, the air, the trees, the land. That we all have a right to live. We have a right, an inalienable right, a God-given right, if you will, to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. There's people who just believe that. And then there's this other group of people that say, no, nobody's equal. Some people are born with power, and those people deserve wealth and prosperity and eating and life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But the people at the bottom don't deserve that. That rights are only for the rich or the people who are born wealthy or well off. That's it. See, this is the classic tension in humanity. And every 100 years, we have to have a bloodbath and chop off a bunch of heads of rich people and all that whole thing. We got to do it I mean, even the Protestant Revolution resembles this cyclical nature, because what ends up happening, we just reinvest in the hierarchy every single time, and it takes 100 years before we figure it out again, and then we got to kill everybody all over again, have a big bloodbath. It's always that thing. It's always Nazis versus everybody else, Nazis versus the Democrats, Nazis versus the Social Democrats. It's always that. National Socialists, people who believe in hierarchy, people who think that the top 1% are the only ones that society should benefit, and that we all work in their resorts, that we all work for them. This is feudalism. I mean, and again, capitalists had to go kill feudalism because they thought it was a better idea, that it was a more equitable way of doing business, was an equitable way of living. Even the age of empires had to end, and we had to start with the age of nation states. These are things that we have to keep doing, and it's the same tension, though, over and over again. It's always just Nazis like this. We don't have a right to someone else's labor for free, dude. This is what I mean. You're an idiot. You're an idiot capitalist. Everyone contributes. Don't you realize that your ancestors contributed to the great experience of humanity and got us to this point as much as my ancestors did? Why should only rich people have access to progress? If all of human history got us to this point, then why are only some people able to reap the benefits? You see, you're not asking for other people's labor. You want other people's labor for free, actually. You are asking for people's labor for free. We just looked at how many people are so involuntarily part-time in America. They're making under $26,000 a year, and the system perpetuates it. They benefit, the corporations benefit by keeping people under the poverty line. That is asking for free labor. You want slave wages. You want the people at the top. The reason why there are billionaires is because someone's labor is not being sold at a fair price. So the person's the value of that labor, that's what money is. It counts the value of labor. If somebody's a billionaire and somebody at the same company is making $5 an hour, the person making $5 an hour, the value they're creating, they're not getting their fair share of that value. And the person at the top is robbing them. That's just basic economics.
Yeah, I just disagree. I think if you spend $4 trillion, everything else is going to get really expensive. You're going to look back at Biden inflation, and you're going to wish you were back there. But you brought up foreign policy.
Are you talking about inflation? I'd be happy to talk about inflation. Jesse?
Yeah, inflation. I mean, it's funny. They bring these governors on to talk about national politics. It's very bizarre. It's a weird interview because, like, Jesse Waters clearly has not done his research. This guy's running for governor of Michigan. A trillion seconds is about 31,700 years. A trillion is 1,000 billion. Yeah, a trillion. And there's a guy who has $1 trillion now. Liberals want handouts and free shit. I don't know who you think a liberal is. I'm not a liberal, so that's not what liberals want at all. Liberals want the marketplace of ideas that we all need to talk to Nazis and have conversations about everybody is a marginalized group and all conversations and opinions are valid. Liberals don't want free shit. Nazis want free shit. They want free shit for their broligarchs. You don't think it's free shit for the war profiteering Trump family to be selling drones? They own a drone company and they're making billions of dollars of taxpayer money. They're taking billions of dollars from taxpayers in order to build drones for a forever war that their daddy got into. You don't think that that's You don't think that's free money? It's always the billionaire class and the lazy class and the Epstein class, the people who are buying and selling children that are like, you guys want free stuff. You have Zorro Ranch. You have Epstein Island. That's all free stuff. All that's free stuff. You stole our money. Even SpaceX, the world's first trillionaire. Yeah. The way he got the billions of dollars in order to turn them into trillions of dollars was by the federal taxpayers. The taxpayers of America gave him the money, gave it to him in the form of loans and buyouts during his bankruptcy. They gave it to him, and then the federal government became his biggest customer. So through subsidies, bailouts, and contracts, we gave billions and then subsequently trillions of dollars to Elon Musk. So don't tell me that the liberals want free shit. Elon Musk wants free shit. Donald Trump wants free shit. And they're taking it from you. And you're a fool if you don't see that the guy who stole your bike is riding it down the street. That's how stupid you are. You see the guy riding your bike down the street, and you're like, some Mexican stole my bike. No, it's that white guy riding my bike down the street. You look at Elon Musk with $1 trillion, and you're like, oh, it's the illegal immigrants who have no power. They're the ones that stole my money. What? He literally is showing off how much money he has. Jeffrey Bezos is showing you that he has your money. It's your money, you idiot. The reason you ain't got shit is because he took it. And you're blaming some poor Mexican? It really is remarkable.
No, you said the word. Because everywhere I go in Michigan, people are talking about the fact that they've never had to worry as much about life being as unaffordable as they say right now. Now, I get it. Donald Trump likes to blame everything on his predecessor. But let's be clear, this is Donald Trump's economy right now. And he's about to make everything so much worse because he's in a vanity war with the Prime Minister of Canada. And look, like, I'm in Michigan, and you're from New York, right? So you know Canadians, man. They're the only people I know who apologized before they even did his thing. So now they're raising the tariff to 50%. What's that going to do to inflation?
Yeah, what is spending $4 trillion going to do? I think it's going to make it a lot worse. But you brought up the war. Are you glad the Ayatollah is dead?
Are you glad the Ayatollah is dead?
The bigger question is, should we have
Are you glad the Ayatollah is dead?
Right? I mean, I'm never going to defend the Iranian regime, but I am going to defend the idea that we probably shouldn't be fighting wars we don't know how to get out of. Oopsie, you go to war and you tell us that it's going to be a special military operation. That was in February. We're now in September almost, and we're still fighting the special military operation. I mean, it's not working for us.
We're not really fighting
exactly
it.
It's a blockade. In the White House who doesn't know what he's doing.
So you'd go back in time, you'd give them back their nuke program, you'd give them back their Air Force, their Navy.
No, I'd go
the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble.
And we actually had nuclear containment. Now, Jesse, you like to, I mean, look, I understand selective memory about history, but we had a JCPOA that was well negotiated, that actually had nuclear non-proliferation far more securely than what we have right now after having gone to war for.
That's true. There was a deal with Iran, and now there isn't one, and the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and our fucking gas prices are up, and people are dying, children are dying, and even American citizens are dying.
6 months. Yeah, I like the fact that the nuke program's buried under a mountain of rubble. They can't even get access to
nuke program. Yeah, it's buried. It's secret. It's a secret nuke program. It's under the earth. We can't see pictures of it. You're not allowed to look. Does this remind you of Iraq at all?
But that's me. I think we'll figure it out. The thing you said about...
so let's just stop there. So
sure.
Jesse, wait. I'm saying you're not good at math. I get that. I'll give you that. But science is not science, okay? Yeah. You understand that, like, nuclear material doesn't just go away because you buried it under a mountain of rubble. You understand they can still go back and bury it out, right?
Yeah, we're watching it from Space Force.
So
we're Space Force. We're watching it from Space Force.
Basically, more secure than we were back then.
Okay, let's move on. You said getting rid of Sharia law was white supremacy. Let's roll the tape. Go.
I don't have to tell you that the same exact forces that drove native peoples from their land 2 centuries ago, destroyed Black Wall Street a century ago, bombed a building decades ago, and tried to ban Sharia law not a decade ago, that those forces are alive and well today.
So getting rid of Sharia law is white supremacy. Can you explain that one?
Do you know what canon law is? Jesse, I assume you're Christian, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so canon law is the name for Christian law. I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose. I don't know why the idea that I could practice my faith as I choose is a problem. Nobody is trying to push Sharia law on anyone else, just like I hope nobody is trying to push canon law on anybody else, because we live in America where you should have the freedom of your religion. So the idea that you have somebody like Tommy Tuberville, right, who barely was good at coaching football, is out here trying to ban Sharia law when there's less than 1% of the Muslim community in America, as if somehow Muslims are out here trying to push Sharia law, that seems to me to be deliberately targeting the Muslim community because they're different. And
this is how dumb MAGAs are. They're pushing Sharia law on everybody. What are you talking about, man? They're pushing Sharia law. Who's pushing Sharia law on anybody? What the fuck are you talking about? And as far as I know, man, there's no law left. I mean, there is no law left in America. So, I mean, I guess the Sharia law would be better than nothing. No, I'm okay with you Muslims want to do your Muslim shit. You'd go right ahead. I think you're all fucking crazy. All you religious nut jobs believing in the invisible world. All you crazy people think that like angels and demons are fighting right behind the veil of invisibility, the cloak of invisibility. And on the other side of it, angels and demons are fighting for our eternal souls. I mean, if you believe all that shit, go for it, man. I'm just not going to participate in your delusion.
I have no issue with people practicing their faith. In fact, I would never want somebody to push their faith on me, and I would never want to push my faith on somebody else.
Because no one wants you to get rid of your religion.
And so the idea,
no one wants that.
So when people preemptively go out there and start preemptively passing laws to ban something that's not happening, what you're trying to do is target a very small community because they're different. And this operates. I mean, look, I'm just going to say there's statistical evidence that
Sharia law in Michigan is kind of scary.
Simply,
people don't go for that.
I have my head in the sand. In what way do I have my head in the sand? Because I'm not afraid of Muslims. The death cults of the world are equally scary. Religion is poison. It's one of the only great lines from Mao Zedong, one of the greatest monsters of the 20th century. But, religion's poison. It's the opiate of the masses. It's a problem, man. If we got rid of religion tomorrow, we would all be better off. The world would be a better place if people stopped believing in magic, and worshiping deities, and only liking people who worship the same invisible God that they do. I mean, it's crazy. The biggest problem in Iran is that their democracy is based on a religious person deciding who's allowed to run. I mean, they all get to vote, but the Ayatollah gets to choose who runs. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. He has to vet everyone who runs. It's a problem. But that's the same thing that you guys want to do. You want the religious leaders to vet our candidates. We've been doing that in America for a long time. You can say, well, it's not as bad as Iran. Okay, then we're different in degree and not in kind. We are not different. We're just different in how much. How much? I mean, it says in God we trust on the damn money. It's all over the place. Everywhere I go, every time I've gone to a Chamber of Commerce meeting I went to a town hall with Bob Goodlatte when I was in Virginia. I've been to lots of town halls with congressmen and senators. And guess what they do? Every single time they pray. And then they do the flag salute, which also mentions God. But we're so different from Iran. Totally different. We're completely different. Canon law is barbaric. It's all barbaric. The people who wrote these religions, they didn't know what viruses were or what a fetus really was. They didn't know what yeast was or bacteria. They don't know anything. MAGA cultist fear mongering about Sharia law doesn't hit the same anymore. They are an ignorant, violent hate group that is just as bad as worse as the extremists they pretend to care about. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the Muslim extremists are no different to me than Christian extremists, or no different to me than Buddhist extremists, no different to me than, I don't know, pick a Hindu extremist. I mean, Hindus used to kill Sikhs, and Sikhs used to kill Muslims, and Muslims used to kill Hindus. Used to. They still do. They still hate each other. Go to India. They all hate each other based on religion. It's ridiculous. It's disgusting. It's a horror show. Your math doesn't make any sense unless the U.S. is going into trillions of dollars of debt. Oh, wait. Yeah. We're going into trillions of dollars of debt for tax cuts to the rich, so we give more money to the rich. Keep giving it to them. Trump doesn't care about housing costs. He has no plan to help America in any way. He doesn't have a concept of a plan. Got concepts of plans. Well, I mean, he hates America. Donald Trump hates Americans. He hates Americans. I love the uneducated. He hates America. He reviles America. He thinks of America as a cesspool, garbage dump. I mean, listen how he talks about America. He hates it all the time. The fact that he thinks he needs to make America great shows you that he hates it. He despises you. He can't stand you.
It's like men are equal for women. It's like physical punishments.
You like to say the word. Look, Jesse, people don't like to say the Michigan. I'm just saying, I don't think that's a good position. Scary. Nobody's pushing it. No, but Jesse, nobody's pushing it. You know what the issue is in Michigan? What? The issue that people are worried about is not that somehow somebody's going to come and push Sharia law on them. The issue in Michigan is people are worried about how they're going to afford their gas. The issue in Michigan is how am I going to see a doctor when I get sick?
He's just, look, what's so funny is he is running to represent the people of Michigan in Washington, D.C. He's just trying to be the representation of the people of Michigan. That's it.
How am I going to keep my job? You're out here, honestly, I agree with you. But you use these words that sound really foreign to avoid actually having to talk about the issues that everyday people like to talk about. Now, look, Mike Rogers is the guy I'm running against for U.S. Senate. And I know that you had him on your show. Maybe he answers questions. I don't know if he does.
I've actually never had him on.
But look, you haven't. So he's ducking your show too because he's ducking. Look, can we all agree?
I haven't invited him on.
Have a debate, right? Can we all agree that Mike Rogers is a beta? Can we all agree with that?
I haven't even had him on.
He won't even come on your show because he's afraid of getting grilled.
And I will have him on.
That guy.
And I'm sure it'll be great. But Abdul,
Jesse,
can I back up?
He's out here trying to talk about Mike.
Can I back up for 1 second?
Finish my point. I'll finish.
Yeah, okay. Because Mike Rogers isn't here to defend himself.
He thinks he's running against Hassan Piker. Well, maybe then he'll actually come on your show. Maybe I'm doing you a favor then. But the guy's a beta, doesn't like to answer questions, and he dodges every debate.
I don't think I need Mike Rogers on the show, but thanks for booking it. I agree. Gas prices are too high. Gas prices are too high. Abdul, pipe down 1 second. Gas prices are too high. Green New Deal's not going to help that. You said that we get to keep our doctor. I've been told that before. We were lied to. So let's move on. Jesse. You said here, I want to move on because we do have to.
Green New Deal doesn't help anything.
No, let me just finish the point. Please. You told me you want to say something. Go ahead. I want to just finish my point. Okay? Yeah. If the only answer that Mike Rogers and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have to this economy is to point to me and say there are scary words associated with it.
Oh, God. Iran murdered 10,000 people in January peacefully protesting. We kill people in this country for peacefully protesting. Is there a difference? Is it a difference if we kill people for peacefully if we kill 5 people for peacefully protesting? Is it different if they killed 10,000 supposedly? Like, that's a number you keep on hearing. Sometimes Donald Trump says they killed 50,000. I've also heard that the American government convinced Kurdish people to take arms up and protest, go out and protest. We're going to protect you. Do you remember when that happened? And Donald Trump said, if you harm one hair on their head, we're going to step in and protect those protesters. Donald Trump said that they were going to protect the protesters, and 10,000 people died. Whose fault is that now? Whose fault is that? Is it 10,000? Is that the number? Are you sure? How do you know that? How do you know Iran murdered 10,000 people? And who were those 10,000 people? So shocking to me that those 10,000 people died. You never hear about them. Some people think it was just the Kurds being put up one more time by the United States government as cannon fodder in their, as pawns. Over and over again, the Kurds get taken in by the United States government. It's such a sad thing.
I'm just going to tell you, those scary words are not raising gas prices or keeping you from seeing your doctor. I'm interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all. And I think that actually will solve problems in Michigan.
I'm not scared of you,
If you think
Abdul. I just think you're a little misguided.
Or running against my faith is going to fix problems, go ahead.
No, I just played what you said and we talked about it, so we're all good. You also said this. You want to replace the right to bear arms with the right to health care. You don't want to replace the Second Amendment, do you?
Well, look, man, I think more people are more worried about whether or not they can see a doctor than whether or not they can have a gun. I'm just going to put that out there.
I mean, you're dodging the question. Do you want to replace the Second Amendment?
I'm just saying that more people are more concerned about seeing a doctor. If we had a right to health care in this country, they probably wouldn't. And I think that'd be a pretty good thing, don't you?
I think you dodged the question. And that's a pretty big one in Michigan. But I'll take it as what you said. You said Colin Kaepernick.
I'm perfectly fine with people. Let me just finish to answer your point. You said I dodged the question. I'm perfectly okay with people having their hunting rifles. It's an important pastime. I've got family that goes hunting every single year. But don't you think we should have a right to health care? Don't you think that'd be a good thing in America? Can we just say that?
75% of the country likes the health care coverage they have.
75% of the country? 75% of the country isn't even insured.
I want to screw that up.
No, 75% of the country wants guaranteed health care through Medicare for all. So maybe you have your facts.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Alternative facts over here.
We'll find out. We'll find out in November. But that's a Gallup poll. You might not believe it, but
yes,
I'm telling you what it is.
Yes, we will.
You said Colin Kaepernick was a good guy, and you said the NFL was racist. What did you mean by that?
That the NFL is racist and that Colin Kaepernick was a good guy?
Look, I think for Colin Kaepernick's sake, I think he should have had several more years in the NFL. Now, I think he's a pretty damn good quarterback. I think, unfortunately, he lost a lot of time. But the bigger question right now when it comes to football, look, I know you guys like to think I don't like football, but I'm happy to line up against anybody who thinks that I don't like football. And I'll just tell you, the bigger issue that we have with football right now is I looked at ticket prices to try and go and see a game with my family. It's astronomical, through the roof. Now, I think football used to be the kind of thing that you could enjoy with people.
It's another dodge, Abdul.
I mean, I want to talk about access to football.
I asked you if you thought the NFL was racist because you said the NFL was racist, and now you're talking about ticket prices.
No, I'm just telling you, the NFL is too expensive.
It's interesting. And this is kind of interesting because, again, Woke One was all about identity politics, and these maggers like these Nazi sympathizers like Jesse Waters, he's very still stuck into this identity politics stuff, racism, and but he keeps on bringing it back to wealth inequality. And Woke 2 is all about that. And I'm actually I'm here for it, man. I'm really glad that I've been saying since 2020, this is all bullshit, that all this these identity politics is just dividing us. We need to be all about rich versus poor. It's about rich versus poor, not left versus right. I've been saying since I started this channel. And so the fact that these young woke people are finally waking up, pardon the pun, it's nice. It's nice to hear. And so he's not being suckered into these identity politics things like Colin Kaepernick wasn't an NFL. He's dodging, but he's staying on point. And the point is there's wealth inequality in America. You're not getting a fair shake. You're getting a raw deal. You're being fleeced. You're being stolen from. There are people with billions of dollars while children are going hungry. That's not right. That's the message. And it should have been the message from the beginning instead of, all cops are bastards, although I don't mind. All cops are bastards. But for politicians, you can't really go out and say all cops are bastards. You need to say things like the wealth inequality is creating an unequal policing situation where certain demographics are policed in ways that others aren't.
The NFL is too expensive. You don't agree?
All right, so you don't think it's racist anymore?
I get it.
All right, well, I'm glad. You don't think the NFL is racist anymore. That's
Most
good.
people can't afford that. Bigger issue with the NFL. You want to talk about the NFL? The bigger issue with the NFL is too many people can't afford it. I get you probably can, and I know that you're in New York, so you have like 2 teams that play in the same place, so you get 2 options. But I'm just saying that here in Michigan we got 1 team, and most people can't afford to watch them in the stadium, and I'd like to make it more affordable.
All right, so you dodged again. Sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right-to-try legislation. The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor,
you want to try on kids?
Parents. Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that healthcare decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then I just think we agree to disagree. But you want to put government inside.
So Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively. I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's ding-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
Is circumcision's different than castration?
I think it's a problem. It's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying.
I mean, it's great. And he's not dodging this question. He's saying, yeah, why is the government getting involved? Why is the government involved in what happens between a parent, a doctor, and his child? That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can.
Yeah, now it's personal. Now it's personal. Now it's personal. You're totally right. Yeah. Did he say I am? It's personal. It's personal to get circumcised. I mean, I think firstly we should make circumcision illegal. I don't know, man. It's a weird one with surgical decisions for children. I think it's very bizarre that parents have all of this power over their kids until their 18th birthday. I think it's weird. I think it should be 16. But hey, who am I? I don't think that parents should have this autonomy over this autocracy over children. I don't like it. But I don't know. Do you have a solution? Do you have a solution? That get the government involved? I don't know.
Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff. Boys playing in girls' sports.
I'm not advocating anything. I'm just saying.
What about that?
So the question, again, like Jesse, you have not asked me one time about the issues that people actually care about in Michigan. You don't want to talk about gas prices. You don't want to talk about groceries. You don't want to talk about healthcare. You don't want to talk about the stupid trade war that's about to destroy.
We spent the whole interview talking about that stuff.
That's destroying. That is destroying our own military. You don't.
He should say that.
Any of those things.
He should say that. Like, I don't know any. Have minors not had any bottom surgeries? Is that a thing? I don't even know if that's true. Is that true? I mean, it's so rare, this idea of a minor getting a sex change operation, but I don't even think that they are even talking about that. They're talking about puberty blockers, right? Isn't that what they're actually talking about? Is puberty blockers? They just say it in a more terroristic way. They say it in a way that is more kind of spectacular. Like, do you agree that minors should have sex changes? And it's like not a sex change. They're talking about puberty blockers. I think it's a little odd to give children puberty blockers, but sometimes puberty blockers are intensely needed because of other issues. So I don't know. I don't deign to tell parents what's better for their children, I suppose. And if they want to go to school, I mean, maybe they should get vaccinated because, everyone's got to be safe at the schools when we warehouse our children in this weird industrial education system we have. But what you do at your home, I mean, are we going to tell them what religion they can raise their kids to? Where does it stop? I don't know. It's so weird with the kids stuff. And I feel like it's so rare that it's almost like we don't need it. We don't need to pass these sweeping laws about putting the government in the homes of parents and their children because it's so rare. Like, it's less than 1% of people are trans. And they don't even know when they're kids.
Bring up all this culture war that, I'm not here to
We
fight
talked
culture war.
about the war. We talked about gas prices in the Green New Deal, okay? If you want to do an interview,
I'm up every time.
you can do the interview, okay?
You're doing
I'll
the
ask
greatest hits, Jesse. Like, I mean, this is like, you can play this game if you want, but like, you can keep doing the greatest hits if you want. You told me we're going to come on for a conversation, and when we have conversations, I think it's okay to also ask questions. I just want to understand what you're getting at here.
I'm getting at whether you think men should play in women's sports.
In Michigan,
It's a big
I'm
issue.
interested in getting money out of politics, putting money in your pocket, and passing Medicare for all.
You're filibustering,
Most people don't care
Abdul.
about what sports kids play.
You're filibustering. It's a big issue.
It's a big issue. Women in sports, men and women's sports. It's a big issue. Is it? Is it a big issue? Let me see. How many trans women athletes have ever been in college sports or high school sports? Is this a big number or am I crazy?
in high school and college sports is very small, a tiny fraction. So you're not wrong to think it's a small number.
Under 10 athletes in the NCAA, out of 510,000 athletes against a pool of more than 510,000 overall NCAA athletes, there were 10. That's less than 0.002% in the NCAA. High school. While overall high school sports participation is high among cisgender teens, estimates show only about 12% of transgender girls participate in sports because only about 2% of high school students identify as transgender overall. Trans girls make up a tiny single-digit percentage of any given student body or athletic league. That's what I mean. Why do we need to have the government? Is this a big issue? No, it's not a big issue. It's a bullshit issue. It's a bullshit issue. Trans is rare. Trans is rare. They're unique. They're very, very, if you're lucky enough to meet a trans person, you should be like, do you remember in that movie Blast from the Past where Brendan Fraser comes out of the bunker? He's in a bunker because they think that the nuclear war has happened, and he waits for 25 years and he comes out of the bunker and it's just LA, and he's like, he comes across a black person. He's like, "Oh, my stars, a Negro." And she's like, "Excuse me?" But he's like really excited because he's never seen a black person before. He's like, "Oh my goodness, there's a black person. I can't believe it." And because he thinks it's 1950s. And I feel like that's how everyone should behave when you see a trans person. You'd be like, "Oh my Lord, a trans!" It should be like seeing an albino peacock or a rare bird. It's like seeing a rare bird, an albino peacock. Oh my Lord, a trans. That's incredible. They're unique. They're special people. They're different from the rest of us. That's great. Let's celebrate the diversity of the human experience. I mean, you should be stoked when you meet a person who's trans. Dude, I live in a town of 7,000 people. There are many trans people here. Go to any store in town and you'll likely meet one. 7,000 people? You got many trans? I wonder if that's Leaf. How do you have many trans people in 7,000? Are you sure you have lots of trans people, or you just have people that are dressed and they just like wearing dresses? I mean, there's that too. They don't identify as trans. There's people who just don't identify as trans and just really like wearing women's clothing. That's something that, like, J. Edgar Hoover. Was J. Edgar Hoover trans? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if J. Edgar Hoover was trans. What town are you talking about? I don't know. I mean, are people visiting from outside your city? I don't know why your town has so many trans people, but that's exciting. You should be stoked. You should be stoked. Trans people are fun. I've worked with trans people. I knew some in college. I knew a couple in college, and I've worked with a few over the years. When I worked at MGM Grand, I had 500 employees, and 2 of them were trans. And and we didn't care. Because guess what? When they walked through the hotel's lobby and in the casino, and they said, "Drinks, cocktails," nobody cared. Nobody thought of them as male. They were women in the costume of a cocktail server selling cocktails. Nobody had a problem with it.
Because you guys kind of lost on that issue last time. Deserve to hear about. All right, so you want to answer that question? What issue? You want to answer the question? What issue? Go ahead, Justin. What issue? Should men play women's sports? You have daughters, right? I think that. Look, I played sports my whole life. Sports were an important part of my life. I'm grateful for the opportunity to play sports. And at the end,
it's such an easy thing to say. Should men play in women's sports? Men in women's sports? No. Trans girls in sports? Sure. Trans girls, go ahead. What the hell do I care? What the hell do I care if a trans girl plays in some sport? If there's no problem, if the other girls don't have a problem with her, who gives a shit? If the other, I would understand if all the girls were like, "Oh my God, no, that'd be weird, I suppose." But I mean, it's not weird. It just happens sometimes. It's been a thing for a long, long time since the Greeks, bro.
The decision of who gets to play what sports ought to be decided by the people who govern sports. I'm running for U.S. Senate. Jesse, it's insane. I'm out here trying to take on like the healthcare crisis and big pharma, and you're asking me about who gets to play what sports. It's
I
silly.
don't
You
know.
can't
It's
take me
kind of a big
seriously.
thing if you've been following the news recently, Abdul. Let me ask you about
No,
the
only weird closeted homosexuals like Jesse Waters. It's a big thing for you guys.
We'll get to your race. Let's do your race right now.
Please be serious. Like I'm here with you. I want to have a conversation about the issues that matter.
Let's do
it. Let's talk about the things that people are actually talking about.
Okay, I am, but let's keep going.
No, you're not.
Black people in
Well, I
Michigan.
know you guys are talking about that, but like the most of the country's not.
Okay, well, all right. Black people in Michigan voted for this white lady you ran against by like 8 points over you. What happened there?
Well, Jesse, I mean, you said it yourself, right? You got to give credit to Abdul. He ran against the machine. I got outspent 11-1. That 11-1 is going to do something at the end of the day. Now, my job is to go and earn every vote, and we've been having some great conversations in the community. We'll continue to do that, and I have a lot to talk about when it comes to my work taking care of communities. I rebuilt Detroit's health department, led Wayne County's Department of Health, Human and Veteran Services, got to work alongside.
Are you saying we should? You're right. Donald Trump is a sex offender, and we should give him chemical castration medication. Give him some saltpeter. I totally agree. Let's give Donald Trump a chemical castration because he's a sex offender.
So many folks in the community to give kids glasses, take on corporate polluters, eliminate medical debt. I'm looking forward to continuing to have those conversations, and I feel really good about being able to bring communities together and beat Mike Rogers, who you and I both agree is a beta and won't come on your show.
That's exactly right. Trump is destroying the economy and our country's reputations. He's distracting his ignorant and gullible cult following with culture war BS. But this is what's exciting is that people like Abdul El-Sayed are not falling for this culture war bullshit. Even like and others, they're not falling for this culture war bullshit. It's pretty exciting. It could be a dawn of a new day. It could be seeing some actual conversations happening about real important shit in America.
And won't debate me in November.
Didn't agree to that, but that's funny. Reparations. Do you support that?
But you laughed at it because you didn't say you didn't agree. Like Jesse, you're very good at telling me when you don't agree with me, but you actually laughed at that joke because you actually agree. Sorry.
Reparations. Do you support that?
I think we need to have an honest conversation about the incredible debt that was put upon black folks as a function of slavery that we have yet to pay. And I just think that's fair. Like if people are enslaved and forced into servitude, and then we don't actually have a conversation about all that was owed, that our own country agreed was owed, I just think that it's high past time to have the conversation. That shouldn't be a crazy thing. I understand that, like, for folks who really want to inflame culture war, I just think it's important for us to think about how do we make sure that communities like the city of Detroit that have been segregated so that you have a disproportionate number of people as a function of redlining who are forced into certain communities, how do we make sure that their schools are made whole? I'll just tell you this, in the city of Detroit right now, they just had $700 million invested in their schools. They're still $1.7 billion behind. And a lot of folks want to say, oh, well, that's profligacy, et cetera, et cetera. No, a lot of that has to do with public policy. Okay. And if public policy created a level in which black folks disproportionately suffer everything from maternal mortality and infant mortality to lack of access to jobs, I think it's important for our country to
so you want to have a conversation
about
about
people whole.
it. You want to have a conversation about it because we have you on the record as backing it, but now you just want to have a conversation. I got it.
Well, I couldn't tell you exactly what. Go ahead.
Schumer, you said you basically wanted to.
Ooh, good question. Why do folks who are not slaves get money from me who never owned a slave? Nope. Darren Moon, that is a idiotic simplification of the issue. And Abdul Sayed, maybe you just misheard everything he just said, or you're too dumb to listen. He said that if public policy is what shaped the wealth inequality, then public policy needs to play a role in correcting that wealth inequality. It's that simple. It's not about people being slaves. It's that people have been systematically oppressed over the years. Yes, part of it is slavery. The big part of it's slavery. People were owned and kept out of any kind of generational wealth. But then even after they were freed, we passed laws all over America to keep them impoverished, to keep them out of homes, to keep them from building home equity, keep them from building any kind of meaningful career structure so that they can get into colleges and all these other things. So how can public policy correct that is the question. Now, one of those options could be money, but I mean, there's lots of different ways that we could figure out how to balance the scale. If public policy played a role, then perhaps public policy should play a role in reconciliation. Makes perfect sense.
Head on a stake when you were running in the primary. You still believe that?
Well, look, me and the senator have one goal right now. It is to win Michigan. So we're looking forward to doing that. And given the fact that Mike Rogers, who you agree is a beta, is my opponent, it probably shouldn't be very hard.
Okay. I respect the fact that you came on.
Me. Mike, bro, talk to your guy.
I respect the fact that you came on. I don't think you've really looked into some of the policies you're pushing. You seem a little naive, Abdul. I give you
yeah, totally naive.
credit for facing the music, but some of the stuff's just straight up wacky. You know? I don't know if that's going to fly in Michigan, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. And you know what's wacky?
Yeah.
You know what's wacky, though?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you, you didn't ask me about?
What?
We got a president of the United States who cares more about the drapes in a ballroom that shouldn't be built than he cares about the war he just got us into, or that he cares about the affordability crisis. That seems to me to be a little bit wacky. So if we want to have a serious conversation about what Michiganders are feeling, I'd love to come back on and talk about getting money out of politics, put money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all.
Okay, we'll do it again.
I'm telling you, none of that is wacky, and that's what Michiganders want.
We'll do it again.
Nice. Well said. Yes, nothing is wackier than Donald Trump worrying about the drapes in a ballroom while people are dying overseas. We have a aircraft carrier where people are losing their goddamn minds. A ship of death out there in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, things are going great. That's wacky. Totally well said. Well said. Well said. He's going to be the next senator of Michigan. He's going to represent the people of Michigan in Washington, D.C. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? I think it's going to be great. I think Michiganders are sick and tired of these Johnny-come-lately maggers. I think, there's the people of Michigan, they've always been kind of like strong unions, strong labor unions, strong workers unions, and but they've always been kind of conservative. I wonder if they'll be able to understand the messaging of people like Abdul Sayed. I don't know. It seems like people in my chat can't even understand it. I mean, they just la 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 la. If I didn't own slaves, why would I want to do anything about making the world a better place? See, that's the thing about you beta cucks, man. You beta cuck maggers. See, I've got so much testosterone, man. I got the masculine urge to make the world a better place. I got the masculine urge to protect the innocent. I got the masculine urge to fight for what's right and fight for justice.
Dumpster fire.
It's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that all you low T maggers, I think that must be what it is. You're just too low T, all you maggers. You got to have daddy tell you what to do. You got to lick the balls of an 80-year-old man. You got to sit there and sniff his diapers and be like, yes, boss. Yes, boss. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Maybe it's a low T situation. Maybe you guys just need a little shot. Get yourself some tea, and then maybe you'll want to fight for what's right. Fight for justice, fight for the underclass, fight for the underdog, fight for the innocent, fight for those who have been held down and oppressed, and try to make the world a better place. That's the masculine urge. I don't know why you guys have this weird urge to just lick those boots. I mean, that's a weird urge. That ain't masculine. You guys got no tea.
No modern president has pushed this many illegal plots, faced this many court setbacks, and made legal problems an actual core part of how he governs. Just tonight, 2 extreme Trump moves are in the news because they lost in lower courts, tariffs.
Bro, Gob, I don't know. You come on you come in the chat a lot, and I just don't believe in it. You're a lifelong liberal. Well, I hate liberals, so go fuck yourself. MAGA is less of a cult than the current Democrat Party. The fact that you call the Democrat Party just shows me that you're in a cult. Everyone knows that it's called the Democratic Party. There's no such thing as the Democrat Party. Only weird cultists call it Democrat Party. It's very bizarre. I don't know why you guys do that. Like, you can't even say, should we call it the Republic Party? Is that like the Republicans? Like, it's just so weird that you guys do that. You are drunk on sanctimony and hate, do not deserve to have. I don't even know what that means. You guys just love licking boots. This country's turned into a country of simps and hall monitors and pro statecraft. Like, you just love the government telling you what to do. It's bizarre. Pro-authoritarian, pro-totalitarian. I just can't believe this is America anymore. I always said that this couldn't happen here. That never would we ever be the type of country that worships uniforms and a weird little dude who's like hunched over and saying crazy racist shit. I never thought that we would be that country. When I lived in Germany, I told Germans that. I'm so embarrassed today. I told Germans it could never happen in America. Like, it could happen anywhere. I'm like, not in America. We would never fall for that shit. We would never fall for it. But we have people like GOB always forcing these narratives and loving people like Donald Trump. It's just no different than Hitler. It's no different from Mussolini. It's no different from Stalin or Mao Zedong, where you have this weird cult of personality around this creep. It's just such an embarrassing thing that it's happening here.
And that voting executive order that we'll continue to cover. Now the Supreme Court is letting one of them continue until it hears that case, something we just discussed at the top of the hour. But this is part of a wider ongoing feature of this term. So in this report, I want to dig into a key area where Trump is trying to skirt or break the laws that oversee prosecutors.
We know throughout history of tremendous power. And where Trump is losing more often, the DOJ has found some of those nonpartisan prosecutors, even ones they appoint, won't do Trump's illegal bidding when asked. So the DOJ has tried to find loopholes to get temps or others to do that same powerful job. But by doing that, they are dodging the laws and rules. Now, 2 top appeals courts have crushed this ploy, finding 2 of those types of prosecutors were in the job illegally and banning them. That's in New York and Nevada within days. Trump's trick, used much more now than in his first term, is to avoid the required oversight and Senate confirmation by basically putting in temps. They are limited to a temporary role that's supposed to be only up to 120 days max. But then he tries to get them to serve basically indefinitely if he can. Now, how sneaky is this? Well, few administrations have ever tried to do this trick this regularly across several jobs. And it is now faltering. Our report finds at least 9 districts which...
See, this is how I know that you hate America. See, this is the whole point of America, is to go back and challenge authority, question authority, challenge the people in power. You are a bootlicker. You're a simp. See, I have the masculine urge to better the world. You are a person who's un-American and wants to do whatever the government tells him to do. It's a bizarre phenomenon that in 2026, you've just completely lost the thread. You just don't even know what America is anymore. That's the whole point of America, is to challenge. You're not supposed to be doing loving your favorite politician. My favorite president, my favorite politician told me what to do and I love him and he can do no wrong. I mean, it's creepy. It's really fucking weird. Americans don't do that. And this is why I told Germans that, nah, we would never do that. We don't follow der Führer. We would never do that. Oh, whatever he says goes. Whatever that guy says goes. What? No. Not whatever he says goes. Donald Trump is the president. He's the executive branch. He's not your friend. He's the cops' friends. He's the military's friends. He's the guys that oppress you, friend. You're supposed to have the Congress and the Senate are supposed to be standing up for you in the face of Donald Trump. Do you think they're doing that? But you don't care because you love Donald Trump for whatever reason. It's no different than the love of Hitler. Nothing is different about it.
Trump used this trick to install loyalists who might do that which other honest prosecutors, including Republican prosecutors, would not. Now, that alone can impact many cases, but Trump has lost 6 of them, as we highlight here. These are the losers in the sense of the court ruled against them. And sometimes that means the prosecutors are out entirely.
Handpicked prosecutors that the courts are saying you're appointing these people illegally.
Other times, the Trump DOJ is trying new loopholes to keep them in their post. I have a little bit more on that in a moment. But one takeaway here is that Trump's bluster still fails when it means opposition, when it's tested in court, when people sue. Trump tried a version of this ploy recently when his AG nominee didn't seem to have the votes initially.
Look at George
so
Orwell.
Trump claimed, well, maybe he could just keep him on as a temp AG, basically a permanent temp.
That's a picture of George Orwell in the middle, and on the left is Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's personal sex crimes attorney.
Is as Orwellian as it sounds.
The president said he had, quote, no objection to withdrawing Todd's name, Blanche's name, saying that he would keep him as acting attorney general until Senate Republicans John Cornyn and Tom Tillis are out of office.
Todd will survive.
You'll keep him in as acting.
Yeah, sure, he'll be acting. He's going to be acting, and, we'll try it again.
So the abuse of that acting or temp rule comes from the very top. But remember, Trump later backed down. Instead of saying, oh, we'll just hold him on as acting, Blanche actually compromised on some key Senate issues about the thug fund in order to get those Republican votes. So that particular temp threat was a bluff. Now, there are times when the government does need acting officers, just like there can be real government emergencies. But abusing emergency powers to undercut the government is wrong. It's a classic challenge that one could call Trump's unfortunate Jar Jar Binks tendency. If you know.
Jar Jar Binks tendency, which was based on, guess who? That whole thing with emergency powers given to the head of the republic in order to create an empire, an emperor, that was the Enablement Act in Hitler's time. And 92 social democrats voted against it, and then most of them were murdered. But they were the only people who voted against it. That's where that comes from. That idea with Jar Jar Binks saying, we need emergency power to Emperor Palpatine. That guy, that was all based on Hitler shit, you realize. And Donald Trump's doing Hitler shit. Well, cool.
Oh, you're Star Wars characters.
Misa proposed that the Senate give immediately emergency powers to the Supreme Chancellor.
I love democracy.
See, this is the same thing. The Supreme Chancellor. No different. This was based on what happened in Hitler's era.
I love the Republic. The power you give me, I will lay down when this crisis has abated.
Misa think that character has not aged well.
Misa think that character has not aged well? Misa think that character not age well.
But the underlying Jar Jar warning, the implication there is timeless. Power corrupts. Excuses for extra power are ripe for abuse.
Why hasn't it aged well? I think it's fine. What's wrong with his? Everyone talks shit about his voice. He's a Gungan.
And the public must protect itself against corrupt rulers and their handmaids. Trump's current version is, of course, different than the emperor. And Trump doesn't even claim to support democracy as much. But here's now how it works at DOJ so you understand. When Trump finds the prosecutors rebuff...
Like, it's getting so bad that the news reporters or the news readers are now saying, just laughing, Donald Trump doesn't even pretend to support democracy anymore.
His demanded revenge cases because of, say, law or evidence, he'll often fire them. And then a loyalist takes their place as acting U.S. attorney.
Yeah!
And then in cases where a judge says, no, you can't do that, the DOJ will try to sometimes relabel them as a first assistant or a special attorney and try to have them act as basically a different temp prosecutor under another title. Now, this matters because the temp prosecutor is avoiding the required Senate oversight and may target opponents, as you've seen here, in ways that no honest, law-abiding, permanently confirmed officer would. In fact, that's what happened with political spokesperson Alina Habba, who Trump tried to elevate in New Jersey.
Remember Alina Habba? You need a bigger cross around your neck. We can't tell you're Christian.
To that post, a judge stopped the ploy. She later left. Or the top federal prosecutor in L.A. found to be serving unlawfully.
I remember
as an
that
acting
guy.
U.S. attorney. Then the Trump DOJ retitled him first assistant, trying to make a mockery of a very clear ruling that he was illegally wielding those same powers, whatever you call his title. Now, that first assistant title was rejected in the new ruling that I told you about out of Nevada. Or in that New York case, Trump's fake temp prosecutor tried using subpoenas to go after Trump longtime opponent Letitia James, but a judge quashed them and disqualified
He keeps getting caught breaking the law. How come he's not in jail?
him. Now, if tracking all this sounds exhausting, that is part of the point. You know, other administrations emphasize trying to always follow the law, and then sometimes they end up in these skirmishes that may go all the way to the Supreme Court. But that's not who we're dealing with here. Donald Trump tried to overthrow an election. He pardoned vicious, violent thugs, putting them back out on the street, siding with violent criminals over police. So the U.S. court system is apparently only slowly catching up to a Trump DOJ that is run from the top by that sometimes illegal mindset. In the New York case, the judge hammered the Trump DOJ for skirting restraints from Congress, using power to subject political adversaries to these criminal investigations, acting without lawful authority. Now, that sounds firm, but then you still have to check. And we did. And I want you to know tonight, the prosecutor in that very office is still on the job as, quote, first attorney, unquote, right now. So some of these judges, and certainly Congress, has to wake up if they don't want to be a part of this lawlessness. Now, a different fake prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, brought an earlier case against Comey, and there it's worth recalling that this ploy I'm telling you about actually ended up dooming the whole case. A judge not only pushing her out, but tossing Comey and James indictments because Halligan's appointment was unlawful. One of those cases died completely. So sometimes this ploy does run into real sanctions. But Trump does press on. His new AG has engineered another...
Look at that, the FBI guy. We haven't heard from Kashyap Patel for a while. What's going on with Kashyap?
Separate case against Comey. Now, this ploy I'm telling you about, which frankly I don't think has gotten enough scrutiny, we've relied on some newspaper and legal accounts as you've seen here, but this is a big deal. And yet, in a certain way, as I told you, it's exhausting, it's dry, it's intricate. It's not exactly the tyranny of tanks or violence. It's not the spectacle of an emperor seizing the galaxy. It's more of an autocratic slide through a kind of endless bureaucratizing of everything.
Oh,
New
yeah.
titles, new skirmishes over the title and what it means and who's doing what. So for a more arcane reference than Star Wars, we turn to a dystopian film from Latin America, which has much experience with autocrats and wannabe despots.
It's not from Latin America. It's called Brazil. It's by Terrence Gilliam.
The 1985 satire Brazil darkly mocks how fascism can kind of be laundered or normalized through the bureaucracy of a
Love
different
that
agency
movie.
or department where no one's really taking responsibility. This is one iconic scene.
What have you done with his body?
Gosh. I don't know anything about that, Mrs. Buckle. I'm really just delivering the check.
He hadn't done anything. He was good. What have you done with his body?
Yes, not my department, of course. I'm only records.
He's only records, right? The killing, the disappearance of a human being under government authority, that's somebody else. Maybe somebody he works with.
It's called The Banality of Evil. Hannah Arendt writes about this. Again, guess what she used as a historical example and what he's skating around.
This kind of cultural commentary is built off grim experience with autocrats.
Which one?
One lesson is to stand up to their pressure and even these ploys, this sort of bureaucratic creativity I'm telling you about, rather than go along and say, well, you're only records. Any more than a judge could claim, well, I only did my part. I ruled against it. It's not my fault if they found a workround
Who did
to do
that?
what they were doing anyway that I ruled
What
against.
regime did that?
So that is the warning. But there is nuance and balance here.
Why are we talking about fiction when there's an actual thing that happened in the world where They did exactly. All those movies are based on a real thing that happened.
There are some U.S. judges getting tougher, however late. Here's how some of that's been going.
Donald Trump's Justice Department is on a losing streak.
The Trump administration is losing an initial wave of legal battles.
The court found the president's global tariffs were found to be illegal.
A new legal blow to President Trump's immigration crackdown. A federal appeals court says he unlawfully invoked the Alien Enemies Act to quickly deport alleged Venezuelan gang members.
The federal
like
appeals
Jar
court
Jar.
in Denver has ruled the Trump administration must grant immigrant detainees bond hearings.
A federal appeals court has ordered an immediate halt to construction on the Trump administration's $400 million White House ballroom.
Are we talking about the Fourth Amendment again? Or the Fifth? No, we're talking about the Fifth and the 14th. The Fifth and the 14th.
Hold the law, and in many cases, leaving the administration with no path, no ploy around those legal losses. Judges often responding to an incredible effort, one that doesn't always make it on TV, waged by people, plaintiffs, lawyers, activists, and other individuals and entities who are saying, yeah, we get it, we get the game, we're going to meet them and challenge and file whatever we need to. A lot of it, though, circles back to these prosecutors, especially when you look at a future where even tonight again, there are questions about how this administration intends to use or abuse power, the power to investigate, to subpoena, to arrest, to indict, and to imprison, as it may face looming election losses.
I was hoping he would at least bring up like the actual historical precedent where they've actually done this stuff. You don't need to talk about Jar Jar Binks when you got Adolf Hitler. You don't need to talk about Brazil when you have Mussolini. You don't need to do these things when you got the Politburo over in the USSR. You know, we've got real world examples. But I guess it's more fun to talk about Brazil and Jar Jar, I suppose, right? It's fun to talk about Star Wars. Maybe some good will come out of those prequels yet. Maybe people will wake up. Maybe people like Dreddy Not in my chat will wake up and watch Star Wars and realize, oh my God, I'm a Nazi. Maybe people will watch Star Wars and they'll realize that, gee willikers, I'm on the side of the evil empire. Huh, how did that happen? I'm on Darth Vader's side. How do we
Journal
get
is reporting
here?
new details about President Trump's role in a major antitrust case against Live Nation, the concert giant that owns Ticketmaster. Justice correspondent Ali Rogan has more.
Remember this? This is
The Department of Justice spent more
still
than a
going
decade
on.
building a case accusing Live Nation of illegally dominating the live event
For 10 years. Imagine working on something for 10 years.
industry by thwarting competition to keep ticket prices high and restricting artists' access to live venues. But according to a new Wall Street Journal investigation, the president urged senior officials at the DOJ to settle the case just days before it was set to go to trial. It came shortly after the president met with the company's CEO in the Oval Office. Attorneys general from 33 states and D.C. had joined the lawsuit, and despite the settlement, most refused to sign on to it, saying the terms were too favorable. In April, a jury in the state AG's case found the company illegally monopolized the ticketing market.
Huh.
For more, I'm joined by Wall Street
Okay.
Journal investigative
What
reporter
happened?
Rebecca Ballhaus. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. What did you and your colleagues reporting reveal about President Trump's involvement in this case?
Yeah, so as you said, this was an incredibly unusual case. It's a case that was first brought by the Biden administration, and when it's announced in 2024, then Attorney General Merrick Garland says it's time to break up Live Nation and Ticketmaster. And when Trump comes into office at his first spring in March 2025, it looks like he's poised to kind of keep up that pressure on the industry. He announces this executive order that
Oh, look at that. Remember this? We're going to break it up. Remember this? This guy, this is how you dress at the Oval Office. This is what Kid Rock wore to the Oval Office. But Zelensky gets berated in the Oval Office for not dressing appropriately.
aimed at cracking down on the concert industry.
Kid Rock, remember when he said, some people say it's statutory, I say it's mandatory because I love underage girls? There's Donald Trump hanging out with another chomo. Why is Donald Trump always taking pictures with pedophiles? Can someone tell me why they're always taking pictures with pedophiles? Why is Donald Trump always taking pictures with pedophiles? Why does that keep on happening to him? Why, guys? Did Dolly Parton actually die? Or are you fucking with me? Oh, she's dead. 80 years old. Man, you just told me that she died, huh? Damn. Damn, what a bummer. Well, she was 80. It gives me hope. The fact that Dolly Parton died when she's 80 gives me hope because Donald Trump is also 80. I mean, 80 years old, man, that's a good long life. She made it. She was so wonderful. Wasn't she so gorgeous? She was such a great actress and singer and songwriter. Wrote some great songs. Born in 1946, same year as Donald Trump. She was just a couple months. What is she? She's 2 months younger than Donald Trump. Man. They took the wrong one again. You took the wrong one again. Man, it's too bad. But it makes me feel a little bit better that it's right around the corner for old Donnie. It's right around the corner. Yeah. Look, I don't know why. And you know what? She almost never took pictures with pedophiles. For some reason, Donald Trump took lots of pictures. He's taken pictures with pedophiles all the time. Why? Constantly. Why is it always with the Why is he always hanging out with pedophiles?
Targeting ticket scalping and exploitative pricing. So it looks like, the pressure's on and that he's not going to sort of reverse course on what the Biden administration has been doing. And then, we see the DOJ and Live Nation spend months and months exchanging settlements, negotiating. Live Nation for months can't even get in the door with the DOJ. They can't even get a meeting. And then finally, their CEO sits down with Trump in the Oval Office just days before the trial is set to start. And our reporting shows that after that, Trump makes the call to the DOJ and says, settle this case. And by the end of the day, that Monday, the first day of the trial, Live Nation's lawyer tells the judge that they all but have a deal for a settlement. And that's hashed out in the next couple of days.
So they paid Donald Trump, and Donald Trump now means that you get fleeced when you buy tickets. Every time you buy tickets, you get screwed. They worked for 10 years on this, man, and they've proved beyond a reasonable doubt that these people have been fleecing Americans, that Ticketmaster and Live Nation are evil corporations that need to be broken up. And Donald Trump said, yeah, but they gave me lots of money, so we're not going to do that anymore. Donald Trump hates Americans. Hates you. He fucking hates you. He hates you.
Fox Business Alert, I'm looking at Bitcoin right now. It is hovering just below $79,000. The digital asset has been rallying quite a bit this month. It has gained 25%. It especially got a boost last week due to
Oh my God, what's ETH at? What is Ethereum at? What's the price of Ethereum right now? 24. 2004. Sucks. It's only a 240. Why is Bitcoin rallying and not Ethereum? What the heck?
a number of factors, including a meeting President Trump had Wednesday with top crypto executives, where he called for Congress to pass crypto regulation and touted the importance of the crypto industry. Still, listen, Bitcoin has a way to go since its all-time high of $126,200.
But what about Melania Coin? How's Melania Coin doing?
$72 hit back on October 6th of 2025. The digital asset is still down about 35%. But again, this recent run-up, just since August 1st, it has zoomed higher by more than...
Trump wants world peace and love. Yeah, totally. That's why he bombs all those schools full of kids.
$17,700 since the start of August. A real sign.
Trump is the worst. Trump is the most deadly school shooter in the history of the world. He literally bombed a school full of children with 2 Tomahawk missiles in Iran on the first day intentionally. So, Donald Trump is actually a bigger murderer than the kids at Columbine, than Sandy Hook. Like, Donald Trump's a more prolific school shooter than any other school shooter.
Is the question? Is it a real sign the Bitcoin winter might finally be over? Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive, one of the top executives in the president's meeting last week, BitGo CEO Mike Belshe. Let me tackle the crypto winter question, because I always like to ask people
Belshe, lay it on us.
entrenched in the crypto industry. I know you don't have a crystal ball to say, yes, the crypto winter is over, but what signs do you see that we might be seeing some green shoots finally?
Well, thanks, Liz. Look, the industry goes through ups and downs. We are changing the way the financial system works, whether you're talking about store value, whether you're talking about stablecoins and payments, whether you're talking about tokenized equities. And this stuff takes time. And we're in small markets. Every market, if you're building it from scratch, starts at zero. And so as a result of that, it goes up and it goes down. And we have a saying in our industry, if you're not ready for our 20% drops, you're certainly not ready for our 600% gains. So it runs and those of us that are working on this, we don't have any doubt that, of course, this is going to work. The original thesis of Bitcoin.
Whatever. Call me when Bitcoin's back. Call me when ETH is at $4,000 again. Ever since Donald Trump got elected, crypto's been nosediving. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be great for crypto." Man, we all got fucked. You've been doing good on crypto. I got nothing on crypto. I'm losing money. Where you guys You guys are happy about a little rally over on Bitcoin? Give me a break. Everyone I know has lost lots of money since Donald Trump on Bitcoin or all their crypto coins. Everything's going down the toilet. You can't even rely on Bitcoin anymore. Dang it. Please stay in power till your 100th birthday, Trump, wonderful man and amazing man. That's one of my favorite. That's the chat of the week. Please stay in power till I love that yours is spelled incorrectly. I love that so much. Birthday, Trump, wonderful man and amazing man. That's my chat of the week right here. Charlie, Chilleri Peace. Man, I love you. Thank you so much, Russian bot. That's my favorite Russian bot so far. Trump, your Trump administration preparing largest visa revocation, is preparing to launch 200,000 tourists, launch a mass visa revocation impacting businesses and tourism visas owned by up to 200,000 foreigners, the Associated Press says. Man, 200,000 foreigners. Largest revocation in U.S. history. Don't forget, that's how it starts. This is how it started over in Hitler times. State Department is expected to soon announce the revocation of B1 and B2 visas issued between 2016 and 2026 to people who sought asylum, so are now seeking asylum. So anyone seeking asylum, so a human right that we signed on with the UN is to seek asylum. They're just revoking it. No due process. Cool. Yeah, documents to unnamed U.S. official. Man, look at this. They're going to just kill all these people. Yeah, immediate deportation for those who lose their visas, the officials told AP, noting most of the people with pending asylum applications would also be murdered on the spot. Cool. Revocation saying the plan is to revoke non-immigrant states claiming non-immigrant visas of foreigners who have come to the United States claiming to be short-term visitors but often file for asylum to stay here permanently. Yeah, well, not going to see your day in court. It'll be challenged, but it'll work. It'll work. Hey, Voided 13, thank you so much. No need to hide. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you. Yeah, Dolly Parton just died. Everybody, rest in peace. It's a bummer, right? I liked Dolly Parton. I didn't like the fact that she used horses in her theme parks, but Disney uses horses in theme parks too. What are you going to do? Yeah. Thank you, Voided 13. Thank you.
What is next for mail-in voting? This next to the Supreme Court.
Like, what happens? Like, right now, they're getting rid of anybody who has any visas or asylum visas, B1 and B2 visas. What happens when they get rid of everyone who already has a green card? What happens then?
Lifted a block on the president's plans aimed to limit mail-in voting. The court did not say that what he wants to do is inherently legal. This is a procedural win for the president, but might be temporary. The president wants to use the post office to control who does not get mail ballots. The court basically said states do not have the standing to block it yet because it's not clear how the order would work yet. The court's 3 liberals dissented. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson warned the ruling, quote, needlessly injects chaos and uncertainty into the upcoming midterm elections. With us now, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, clear something up for me because I've seen some headlines over the last 12 hours or so which says the Supreme Court rules the president can restrict mail-in voting. Is that what happened?
Not exactly.
No, John, this is the risk in only reading the headlines. So the executive order issued by the president back in March told DHS you are to come up with lists of eligible voters in each state and then told the Postal Service you are only to deliver mail-in ballots to and from those addresses. Now, a group of 23 Democratic states plus D.C. challenged that. They said it's unconstitutional. We are the states. We get to run our own election under the Constitution.
Yes.
The Supreme Court did not decide the constitutionality or unconstitutionality of the order. What the Supreme Court said simply is this lawsuit at this point is premature. The states cannot show the kind of concrete, specific injury yet that they need.
Yeah, you have to have damage in order to bring suit. But the problem is, after the damage is done, you have stolen an election. So for the Supreme Court to be like, well, you can't prove damages, so really what are you suing for? Because he's threatening. It's like if someone points a gun at my head and I call the cops and the cops are like, call us after he pulls the trigger. That's what the Supreme Court is saying. What are you calling me for? He hasn't shot you in the face yet. Call me when he actually does something. Which is really what cops do, right? You can't call them and say, hey, I have a stalker who's trying to kill me. They'll be like, yeah, but he hasn't done anything, so nothing we can do.
Turns out there aren't many military options anymore. There aren't any good ones, at least, for this ongoing war that they have been losing. And so today, instead of any new military options unveiled or tried out when it comes to the Iran war, today we got them proclaiming an economic D-Day against Iran. Given what the real D-Day actually was, you might be forgiven for telling these guys to get the name D-Day out of their mouth altogether.
Yeah.
But with viable military options essentially unavailable thanks to the geniuses they've installed at the Pentagon, instead they're announcing vaguely this economic D-Day as some kind of vague announcement of new economic initiatives targeting Iran. But the real D-Day was all about us supporting our allies to defeat a common enemy. This administration has no real allies anymore. So they may want to call it D-Day, but there's no one to ask to help us storm these proverbial beaches, even though they want to call this D-Day. Without anyone essentially on our side, Trump and his Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, are insisting that they're going to pull off some big...
I'm kind of glad everyone who was at D-Day is dead, because can you imagine going through some Saving Private Ryan bullshit like you saw in that movie, and this asshole's like, economic D-Day. You'd be pissed, right? If you saw your friends get their heads blown off and carrying his own arm and stuff like that. You'd be pissed if economic D-Day.
New economic thing against Iran. And how are they going to do it? We don't know. But they say they'll punish any nations who help Iran. We don't have any allies to bring into this fight.
It's funny you say that. I saw Headstrong Jay. I saw Garth Brooks and his wife perform. She comes out for a couple songs in Las Vegas when I opened up the T-Mobile Arena. And it was a good show, man. It was fun. I'm not a big Garth Brooks guy, but the guy's a great performer. You could tell why he's still so famous and popular. Great show. So I ain't ashamed. I've seen everybody though. I saw everybody, but I actually stayed for that a long part of. I saw almost the whole show. It was great. Garth Brooks was fun.
More, but will punish anybody who helps the other side. This doesn't make much sense to anybody either, because look at the basics of what we know about who is helping Iran. This is the headline last week at NBC News. Russia is shipping explosives to Iran to bolster its missile and drone arsenal in U.S. war. Okay, we're going to go after countries that are helping Iran. Does that mean we're going after Russia? Are we going to try to rally other countries to go after Russia, crack down on Russia for the way they're helping Iran? Of course not. Of course not. Of course we'd never go after Russia, because Trump is beholden somehow, or in the spell somehow of Russia's dictator. And so, of course, even as Russia helps Iran, not just financially, not just in terms of oil exports and things like that, but literally shipping them explosives and weapons to use against us. Are we going to do anything about that? No, of course not. Well, how about the sanctions, though? How about countries that have been helping Iran evade U.S. sanctions? Will we go after them? Will we be able to persuade other countries to help us go after
I'm not a big fan of Maddow, but she actually has written books about the military. Like, she knows a lot about the military. And so when she talks about this shit, she does so with a degree of authority that I think most people just don't have.
After anybody who helps Iran evade sanctions? Again, this doesn't make sense to anybody else in the world. Evasion of U.S. sanctions on Iran is a crime under U.S. law. The single largest case ever brought against anyone for helping Iran evade sanctions was brought in federal court in New York against a big bank, a bank from Turkey. Huge case. Biggest sanctions case ever. The biggest case ever about an entity helping Iran evade sanctions. And what happened to that case? Donald Trump insisted that case be dropped. As a favor to another dictator he likes. As a favor to the authoritarian leader of Turkey. So we need to crack down on people that are helping Iran how are we leading by example there? They're calling for a D-Day against Iran, us leading the world against Iran, right? Except A, we have nobody to lead because under Trump we have no allies anymore. B, we're the ones actually supporting one of the countries giving Iran its weapons because Trump likes the dictator of that country. And C, we're the ones letting Iran get around these supposed sanctions. In that Turkish bank case, the biggest Iran sanctions case ever, it's apparently because Trump likes that dictator too. The guy who's
We also ripped up the deal we already had with them.
letting that happen. So it's not weird that nobody's jumping up to help. Now that Trump has neutered us in all of these ways, now that this is his big unveiling of the big new fight against Iran as he's losing this war, what has he decided to do to sort of distract us from the catastrophe in this Iran war of choice? Now he's decided that he'll pick another fight. One that maybe he feels like he'll have a better chance of winning. See if he can get something else going with another, vaunted enemy of the United States, in this case, Canada. Started a trade war with Canada.
Let's start with our brothers, the Canadians.
But unlike other countries that have tried to appease Trump when he has picked inane performative trade fights with them, countries like the UK or the EU, right? Canada's Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is not going along with it. He clearly will not be bullied, and the Canadian people have never been more unified behind him because of it. As Stephen March put it at the New York Times on the op-ed page today, quote, for Canada, the choice came down to either accepting severe but temporary economic instability or binding itself to a pseudo-democratic fiscal basket case of a nation, that's us, whose only apparent foreign policy objective has become domination for the gratification of the president's slapdash vanity. But Mr. Carney did not simply reject a trade offer on Friday. He was only defiant of the new breed of American aggression. Mr. Trump's world, a world of transaction and submission, is not the only world we all have to live in. Mr. Carney did what Canadians elected him to do, stand up for Canada. It's funny to wake up relieved that you're about to take a beating, but we will not go along to get along.
I love it. I love people that stand up to bullies, because when you smack a bully in the face, they go, "Oh, Dorothy, why did you hit me?" They're all cowardly lions. Put them up. I'll put them up. I'll club you. I'll pulverize you. And Canada's like, go fuck yourself. I love it. Go, Canada. Canada's like, we'll sell our shit to somebody else who wants it. Fine.
The American president clearly did not know whom he was dealing with. He's following in the grand tradition of American leaders, starting wars with people they don't understand, then wondering what went wrong. This is the country that ought to be, and that almost always has been, our best friend in the world. And I would say we've torpedoed our relationship with our closest ally, our closest friend, and one of our two closest trading partners in the whole world. But, if an actual torpedo were involved here, that would have to involve Pete Hegseth, and so I'm not sure we would worry that much about it, because clearly it wouldn't work.
You want to know how MAGA ignores all the trade? They don't know about it. They're ignorant. You say ignore is the operative word right there. They're ignorant. They don't know anything. They watch people like Jesse Waters and they're afraid of trans people. Like, if you're afraid of trans people, you clearly don't have much going on upstairs if you're afraid of trans people. There's not much up there anymore. If you're afraid of gays and blacks and big cities and you're afraid of all these things, you don't have much upstairs. So then you hear about Donald Trump's kids getting, billions of dollars in government contracts to perpetuate a forever war with the use of their new drone company. And they're like, what now? Do what now? Do what now? Do what now? They did what now? It just doesn't compute. It's like if you ever watch the movie, have you ever watched the show Westworld, where the robots, when they see something that they're not supposed to see, their programming makes them say, it doesn't look like anything to me. I feel like that they're so programmed that they're like the robots in Westworld. Doesn't look like anything to me. Every time they see something that's kind of incongruous with their programming.
The lesson that Prime Minister Mark Carney in Canada clearly learned before this fight, the stance for which his own people, left, right, and center, are now cheering him on, it's not just a performative thing. It's not just a political style thing. What he's doing is what has been shown since time immemorial to work. When it comes to an incompetent bully, giving in and letting them dominate you does not get you treated better in the long run. It just invites further displays of dominance from the bully and further humiliation for you.
That's right.
On the other hand, standing up to the bully and refusing his demands makes you an annoyance to the bully, makes you a harder target. And the last thing an incompetent bully wants to do is anything that smells like hard work.
That's right.
Also, bonus, if you do stand up to the bully, you get to look yourself in the eye, and your kids and your constituents will still love you no matter how it turns out.
That's true. Even if it turns out kind of rough, even if it's hard on them, they'll be like, you know what, but we're still not going to let those bastards tell us what to do. I like it.
Donald Trump has a negative approval rating right now in 37 out of 50 U.S. states. There are only 3 states in the whole country in which he is more popular than unpopular right now. Those 3 are West Virginia, Idaho, and most of all, Wyoming. But even in Wyoming, the state where he is more popular than any other state in the country, Trump-style politics are losing hand over fist right now. This didn't get a lot of attention nationwide last week, and I know there's a lot of other news, but this struck me as important. In Wyoming last week, the ultra-conservative MAGA Freedom Caucus thought that in last week's elections, last week's Republican primaries in Wyoming, they would extend the hold they already have on the Wyoming State House, and they thought they would actually take over the Wyoming State Senate as well. This is the MAGA Freedom Caucus in Wyoming, and Wyoming is the most pro-Trump state in the whole country. But instead, look at what happened last week. Last week in Wyoming, the Freedom Caucus not only didn't take over the state Senate, which they thought they would do, they also lost control of the state House. The MAGA Freedom Caucus had 36 seats in the Wyoming House. Last week, 13 of their incumbents were voted out in the primaries. Cowboy State Daily called it a, quote, near complete massacre of Freedom Caucus members and their allies.
A ding-dang-do.
In that same primary, Trump had an endorsed candidate for governor who also lost. Just like his endorsed candidate for governor lost in Minnesota. That was Mike Lindell. Just like
I got my pillow and I want to be the governor.
His endorsed candidate for governor in Iowa lost as well. That was Randy Feenstra. Just like his endorsed candidate for governor in Georgia lost as well. That was Burt Jones. Plus the first candidate he endorsed for governor in South Carolina, she lost too, Pamela Yvette. Incompetence has consequences. And people choosing to fight has consequences too.
Well, that's it. I mean, does anybody want to fight the bully? I don't like bullies. I just don't like bullies. I'm like Captain America. I just don't like bullies. Don't like them. Some people do like bullies. People like these people in my chat. They like these maggers. They love bullies. They love getting pummeled. Uncle. They get turned on by it, you know. Not me. Not me. I don't like bullies. I'll punch a bully in the fucking face. I don't like bullies. I'll pummel you. I don't take too kindly to people telling me what to do because I'm American. I don't like people telling me what to do. Ding dang do. All right, thank you so much, everybody. You're done, MAGA. It's a wrap. Yep, MAGA's gone. MAGA's it's a wrap. They're on their last legs. Yep. We love Trump in England. Well, I mean, you're probably one of those Brexit types. Hey, What are you going to do? There's a lot of stupid people out there. A lot of stupid people in England, too. Well, you know, like, I love my English friends, but there's just as many stupid people in England as there are everywhere else. I mean, Brexit, case in point, you know what I'm saying? Thank you all for joining. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I'm an independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and this is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, The Morning Sky Show. Thank you all for joining me. If you aren't a Sky City Rebel, please please think about being one. Sky City Rebels get extra chat, extra screenings, extra content, and extra love in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Now, to end with a little note of some humanity, because we do have time for humanity, don't we? It is the poem of the day from the Poetry Foundation, Poem Sautés. It's a prose poem. Could be kind of fun. Let's see, a prose poem. We haven't had one in a long time. Let's see. As I walked up the Rue des Martyrs with my bag of small, perfect, waxy potatoes, I doffed my imaginary hat to Monsieur Parmentier. Well, I do have a hat and wore it a lot not so long ago to cover a healing wound on my forehead, but this wasn't necessary anymore. And anyway, the hat wasn't with me now in Paris, nor was Monsieur Parmentier, though any remains of him lie in a plot in Père Lachaise, ringed by potato plants. I would not be intending to cook my potatoes if not for the duplicitous actions of Parmentier back in the late years of the 18th century, after he'd realized that this odd-shaped tuber looted from the Incas in Peru, along with their gold and silver, was extremely nutritious, and no one would believe him. He'd come up with a ruse, using money given to him by King Louis XVI. He purchased a plot of impoverished ground outside Paris in Neuilly-sur-Seine and planted it with potatoes. When the time to dig them came, he built a fence around them and put armed guards outside. These men wore uniforms the color of potatoes. They were told to leak the news that they were guarding an extremely precious food. Then, one night, they left their post. Thieves arrived within a couple hours and stole the entire crop. Over the next few days, the potatoes were sold in the city's markets as the food of kings. So my guests wouldn't know they would be eating the food of kings, nor would I tell them, though I might well concoct a story about the breed of pigs their pork chops had come from, and the posh wine that had yielded the wine vinegar I'd used in the salad dressing. I could try telling them I'd climbed over the fence of Père Lachaise the previous night, armed with a phone torch, a troweling spade, and a canvas bag, and dug the potatoes from Monsieur Parmentier's plot, only taking the small ones that were right for palm sautés, of course. But I know they wouldn't believe me. I was distracted from these smug reveries by my mobile phone ringing. I dug it out of my pocket and answered it, thinking one advantage of being in France was that nobody rang me. The voice at the other end was not one I recognized. It said, at first quietly, "Are you okay?" Then in a louder voice, "Please tell me you're okay over there." And that was it. When I went to check the number, it had been withheld. What had I landed myself in, I wondered. I went home to deal with my 19th century French meal. Palm sautés. It's kind of a fun poem, huh? Nice little fun poem. I like the little prose poem you don't really get very often. It's kind of, tell me you're okay over there. What had I landed myself in, I wondered. We don't know. We just end up in Paris sometimes with waxy potatoes and 19th century meals. Thank you all for for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Communists aren't real people. Launch them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Way to go. MAGA is strong. Dems created it. Well, I mean, the Dems definitely made it possible, paved the way, that's for sure. Definitely paved the way for it. Absolutely. If you hate Donald Trump, you got to hate Barack Obama and Joe Biden, that's for sure. All right, thank you all for joining. My name is Skyjack Morgan. I appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed the poem of the day. Thank you, Raul Duke. Please consider making a contribution to the channel. Thank you for supporting it, and like and subscribe. Share a short. Thanks for the support. Share a short. If you aren't a Sky City Rebel, please, make sure you hype a video. Use that hype button. I really appreciate it. That hype button helps a lot with videos or with the shorts. It helps quite a lot. Share one of the clips. That would help a lot too. I appreciate you guys. Illegitimacy non carborundum. Don't let the bastards grind you down. And Godspeed, rebels. You're doing great. You're gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.